Okay, got that. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Do I watch football? No, not really. I kind of have like a weird relationship to football because or like kind of all sports. I don't watch any sport, but because I'm from Colorado, I always want the Colorado team to win, and I check the scores after too. I don't watch any of the games. I just check the scores after the games are done of like how the Nuggets and how the Broncos did or how they're doing. I'll check up on them every now and then. No need to check up on the Rockies though. I always know how the Rockies are doing. All right. Yeah, make sure you're sharing that stream out, dropping those likes, dropping those subscribes, dropping those follows, doing all of that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, if you want to debate whether or not God exists, you got to be 18 or older and you must believe the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I'm also open to an argument if you want to defend like deism. We can have a deism debate, but you need to believe in a personal ultimate foundation. If you don't believe in an ultimate foundation that's personal, don't request to join. I also ask that you have some sort of like reason to hold your belief. I'm not super interested in you saying, it's faith, dude. That's kinda boring. But with that, we'll go to the very first guest.
Rati,
Hey, how's it going?
uh, what's up?
Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Hello,
Yep, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Yep, and what religion?
I'm Christian.
Okay, what makes you think God exists?
Yeah, so I have an argument if you want. So it proves that God exists.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, is it possible to just go through like I can explain the concepts in the argument first and then I'll give like the promises?
Sure.
Okay, so first of all, so I like to call the argument, I think I've came up with it. It's called the hyperstructural cosmological argument for informational closure. So you have some like preliminaries with the ontology that I assume for the argument. So there's some like physically instantiated realities that are used to like describe a finite or recursible enumerable set of lawful dynamic relations.
Wait, sorry, wait,
And
what
then
what was the say that sentence again? Say it one more time.
just the
Yeah, just like
premise or
yeah,
the
what's
sentence
the
right now.
previous sentence that you just said?
Yeah, so I'll have some physically instantiated realities that describe like these finite and recursible enumerable set of lawful dynamic relations.
Some physically instantiated realities that do what?
Describe
Describe
a finite or recursible
a finite or recursible
enumerable set of lawful dynamical relations.
enumerable lawful set of dynamical relations.
Yeah.
So you're basically just saying like there are laws of physics,
No.
that there
There's
are
a
like some
difference between
physical
saying that the laws of
realities
physics
where
simplicative.
that follow like a lawful set of dynamical relations. I take like a lawful set of dynamical relations relative to some physical reality to be something like the laws of physics of that reality. Is that not what you mean?
Well, no, so one, because you can have the existence of a stable lawful structure, but that doesn't imply like a chaotic or implementatic compressibility of universe state space.
Wait,
Because
but
you can have a
our
trajectory
universe is
because
chaotic.
sorry?
Our universe is chaotic, so I'm not sure how you'd be making an argument.
Well, the universe is chaotic, but not unlike a stable structure. You can be an anti-structuralist
No, no,
about
but it
meta
is, but then
ontology.
you would agree that it's chaotic. So it doesn't really make sense to say that, the laws of physics can't be chaotic because ours certainly give rise to chaotic
I agree.
dynamics.
I agree.
So you would say that, would you deny that the laws of physics exist in our universe?
Well, it depends on your theory of existence. I hold to like a Quinian kind of existence.
So just you're saying like there exists
Well, that's begging the question.
Just like the existential operator.
Something like that, sure.
So would you say it's true to say, you know, the existential
But I don't
operator,
know
which
your
by the
theory of
way,
truth
I don't know if you're aware of this, but for the existential operator, the way that this is translated into ordinary language is there exists a.
Right, but you'd have to specify that you use an existential quantifier. Because otherwise, if you're just reading the natural language sentence, that doesn't specify if it's being formally.
Well, presumably in a conversation like this, after you say you hold to the Quinean theory of existence, and then I say, there exists, probably you can just infer that I'm talking
Well,
about the
yeah,
existential
sure, I agree.
operator.
But I
So,
would just have to make
so
sure, that's
would you
all.
say there exists an X in our universe such that X is the laws of physics?
Well, I wouldn't say that it exists because I'm a descriptivist.
Okay, so you wouldn't say laws of physics exist? Okay.
Not in a robust metaphysical sense, but I said I'm a descriptivist about a lot of
Okay,
laws of
sure.
nature.
So you would say that that there is like this lawful set of dynamical relations.
Yeah, and like for example, if you take the like Einstein's field equations or like Yang-Mills symmetry relations, if you have like this stable law of structure for like the universe of states or the laws of reality, then you could basically have like an observable universe, like you mentioned, which is stable, or sorry, not stable, it's anti-stable and it's like chaotic, and then the astronomically high informational content related to chaos.
Okay. So sure. So you'd say that so all you're saying is that there are like some physical realities that contain a lawful set of dynamical relations? Is that basically what
I
the
think I
sentence
think
you said
so.
is?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Then you can continue.
Okay. So yeah, so if we understand like those kind of ontological commitments for the argument, we can move into because it's a type of cosmological argument, so we can go into like the fine structure problem, with these kind of ontological commitments, if you want to do that.
Sure. Is this like a formal argument? Do you have premises?
Well, it depends what you mean by formal argument.
Like, is it gonna be a syllogism that follows some sort of valid inference rule?
What do you mean by a syllogism?
Just like some sort of set of premises that necessitate the conclusion via a valid inference rule?
What's your theory of validity?
You can't be serious. Is this really the debate strategy? You're just going to ask me to define every word? I can do that if you want. I just think it's kind of boring. And I think that the more words that you ask me to define without giving some sort of like substantiation, I'm worried that the audience might come away with the impression that you're being bad faith. But sure, my theory of
Well, I don't know what
validity
you
is
mean by
going to
bad
be
faith because
okay.
I think that's a loose word used within a lot of, Hegelian dialectics. But I'm not a
Of
Hegelian anyway.
course. Of course, yeah. Gosh. Just a random throwing in there of Hegelian dialectics, even though you're not a Hegelian. I'm using valid in like the standard sense that it gets used in analytic philosophy.
And what
Just
would you say
like,
the standard usage is?
yeah, that if the premises are true, a set of premises and a conclusion such that if the premises are true, the conclusion must be true.
Okay, and can you give an exhaustive constitutive ontological account of all the kind of inference rules that commit to one's
No,
kind of validity scheme?
nope, I can't, nor will I.
Okay, then why should I accept your theory?
Why would I need to? Oh, sorry, wait. Can you give me an exhaustive account of all the ontological
That's a
entities
two-quote
committed
fallacy.
in order
That's a
to
two-quote
actually? Whoa, whoa. Can
fallacy.
you
You're
give me
giving
a
me
whoa,
bad in
whoa?
this
In order to claim that
conversation.
it's a
You're
two-quote
giving me
fallacy,
bad.
in order
It's
to
a
claim a
two-quote.
two-quote fallacy, can you give me an exhaustive list of all of the ontological entities that you
Now
need to
you're
commit
doing a
yourself to
two-quote
in
fallacy.
order
You're
to
being
accuse me
fallacious.
of doing a two-quote fallacy?
You're being fallacious.
Well, sorry,
Can
but you
you
haven't
answer the
accounted for the
question?
ontology of that. Can you give
What's
me an
your theory of
exhaustive list
ontology?
of
What's your theory of
whoa,
ontology?
can you give
What's
me
your
an
theory?
exhaustive account
What's
of
your
all the
theory?
ontological entities required to ask for my theory of
Yeah,
ontology?
so for example, you can have
Whoa,
like
you're getting really
a kind of
excited.
measurability for the ontological constraints given your constitutive account of theory.
Sure, wait, so wait, give me the
But
list
if
of the
that theory doesn't
entities.
come to
Wait,
be
what's the
a
list of
kind of
entities? Go
exhaustive
ahead.
theory of validity, then I have
Whoa,
no reason to accept it.
restart that answer. What's the list of entities?
Sorry, you haven't answered my question. So that's a two-quote
He won't
fallacy.
repeat his
It's
answer
a
because he
two-quote
knows that it was
fallacy.
gibberish.
That's it.
His answer was such gibberish
Oh, is
that
it
not even he
gibberish?
remembers it.
Well, what's your theory of meaning if it's gibberish?
Oh, what's the theory of meaning? Oh, what's your theory of
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
it's
know,
just
making friends in the comment section, dude? Hey, how's it going?
Hey, he.
Oop, hey, are you there? You're like lagging out a bit.
Hey, I'm 19. He him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, how old are you?
9 him.
You're super like lagging out.
Hello, I'm 19.
Yes. Okay. What religion are you?
I'm Christian.
Okay. What makes you think that God exists?
I would honestly say that I know that energy can't be like created or destroyed,
hmm
but I do think that there has to be an origin because, you know, I mean, I don't believe in like the Big Bang or anything. I believe that, I mean, if the Big Bang were to be true or any other, you know, theory as to how we came about and just existed, I guess, I would say that it has to have like an origin. That's
Why?
just,
Energy can't be created or
well,
destroyed, though. So why would I think that energy has an origin?
so like I like to go off Genesis 1:1. Obviously, I
Mm.
think you know that, you know, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. I think that, you know, when he said like let there be light, you know, I think that was insinuating that he used his voice to create earth. So obviously, if he's outside of a like I guess the third dimension, this dimension or whatever, and he's like, let there be light. I think that's just him basically saying that he has so much that he was able to use his voice to actually create energy, which kind of, I mean, I guess that doesn't really make a
You're
lot
like
of
lagging
sense
out.
to
I don't know.
existence.
Wait, chat, is
But
this
you
guy
are,
lagging out for you too, chat? Because this guy's lagging out for me.
hello?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just try to simplify this. So I basically think that
Well,
God is
wait, can
outside of
you
the third
fix
dimension.
your
I think
lag?
he created
Wait, I
the
don't want to continue
universe.
the conversation if you're going to continue to like lag out, to be clear. It's like quite annoying.
Okay, I'm gonna put my AirPods in.
I don't think that's the problem. I think it's like a connection problem. All right. We'll wait for this guy to put his AirPods in. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen sharing with your friends, doing all that good stuff.
Is it better?
You kind of lagged saying that,
Can you
so
hear me now?
I doubt it. I don't think it's gonna work, but sure, yeah. I don't know. Maybe continue what you're saying, and then if it doesn't work, then I'll probably just move on to somebody else.
Right, that's fine. So I was just saying that I think that God is outside of this universe and
Mhm.
he created this universe. Like we're
Mhm.
kind of like kind of like the ant farm analogy, where like you created the ant farm and you can see outside of it and alter things.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing that I'm looking for the justification for. Like, why would I think that that's what's going on?
Okay, well, I think there's some things that we don't understand that we should be able to like infer. So, like for example, have you like heard about, you know, like maybe like two-dimensional beings? Like for example, if you're looking on a piece of paper, right, and you like draw a circle and that's like the two-dimensional being or whatever, it can only look left and right. It can't look up and see you because we're in the third dimension. So I would assume it's kind of like that with God.
Okay, yeah, but why would I think God exists in some higher dimension?
Well, because if energy can't be created or destroyed, there still has to be an origin.
Why? If the energy can't be created or destroyed, then presumably it just always existed.
Well, then going off of that presumption, I think that we should be able to see like things just being created randomly. Otherwise, you know, like if it just happened once and never happened again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like
It doesn't
it
have a
doesn't seem like
beginning.
an
It didn't come
actual
into
law of physics.
existence. It just always existed. That's the claim. It would have existed eternally without beginning. So it didn't get
So
created out of
you're
nothing.
so so you're saying that okay? So what's your theory as to how we came about? Or are you just saying we never like were created or never existed? I'm confused.
When you say we, you could be speaking of like one of three things. You might be speaking about humans, in which case the answer is evolution. You might be speaking of something like the Earth, in which case the answer to that is going to be gravity pulling particles together. Or you might be speaking of the universe, in which case I'm going to hold that the universe always existed.
I'm just talking about like everything that exists. So yeah, the universe.
Oh, yeah, I think that the universe itself always existed and changed over time.
Well, the thing is, okay, I don't, I would get that, but I just don't understand how like we could just come from nothing and evolve into like a species that was never like, we never had the necessity. I don't think we ever had the necessity to adapt into what we are right now.
I don't think I said that we came from nothing. I think I said that something always existed, that the universe always existed. You keep on trying to
Okay,
represent my
so
position as if I think that something came from nothing, but I think you might be a bit confused. I mean, that's what you believe. You believe that God created the universe out of nothing. I think that the universe always existed.
okay, how when you say that you believe that humans were like created from evolution, are you talking about like from like how far are you talking about from long ago? Are you saying we came from a different species? Are
Like evolution as a process is
you saying
probably
we came from
stretching back
something
like
else?
4 billion years. So there's like a long chain of things. So we came from, I think, Homo erectus. Homo erectus came from, I don't know, I think Australopithecus. And then the chain keeps going back farther and farther, and it goes back like 4 billion years.
Well, let's go off the Bible. I read the Bible. I'm pretty faithful in it. I just would assume that, if it has to be, it can't be created or destroyed, or it can only be like moved around. I think that it's safe to say that if there is no origin, it would just not be stable, and like the
Why?
amount of like probability that we would just be able to always exist into like the perfect paradise that we are in right now, it just doesn't make sense to be that like likely to happen.
When you say energy would be unstable, what does that even mean?
Well, like, you know how like the moon and the sun are like the perfect distance and stuff like that?
No,
And
not at
like there's
all.
just like a lot of things that make, well, like for example, if the sun was a bit further, we would not have enough gravitational force to like stay in the solar system.
We literally get millions of miles closer to and farther away from the sun over the course of a year. In fact, even our orbit itself is drifting hundreds of miles away from where it was previously every year.
So you're saying that if we were in a different place, we'd still stay in the solar system?
Yeah, that we're constantly being in different places. That there's like quite a big distance that we could be away from the sun such that we would be fine.
Right, and the moon?
Yeah. Like the moon used to be a lot closer. In
How do you
fact,
know
I
that?
believe that the moon, I believe that the leading hypothesis with respect to the moon is that the moon emerged when there was like some big object that collided with the Earth. So the moon used to be like way closer, and then it's now going farther away.
Well, I'm not sure about that. Maybe I just got to do some more research about that, and maybe I could come back and come talk with you another time about that.
Okay. Yeah,
All right, I'm definitely gonna do some research about that. Thanks for having me.
yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on up. Hey, what's up, Quantonaut? What do you want to talk about?
Just missed
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. I don't know. I don't know if we have. Maybe I need to. Are you doing anything tomorrow morning?
I don't think I am.
Okay, okay. We might reach out to you. I don't think Dr. Blitz is
Ooh,
going to be on unapologetic. We'll see. I'll talk with Justin.
awesome.
Yeah. Um,
Also,
you're-
I just found out some cool news myself.
what?
Apparently, I've been chosen by my collaboration, to advocate for science in DC.
It's a rough time to be advocating for science in DC.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly is, especially at the event that I'm going to. But science
Yeah.
calls.
Which ones? Oh, also, I'm in DC. We should meet up.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah, it's the Great American State Fair. It's the one that a bunch of musicians have been dropping out of because it's all tied with the Big Cheeto.
I see.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, let me know. Let me know when you're
absolutely,
there.
man.
I'm sure my girlfriend would love to go to this with me. What is it? What are you? Okay, okay. I'm sorry. I won't get sidetracked. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You can also be a deist. That's fine too. Um, but I ask that you have some reason to think that God exists, and with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hey man, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yep. How old are you?
29.
What was that wet sound in the background?
Oh, sorry. It's the dishes. Can you hear me?
It's the what? The dishes, sure.
It
Okay.
was yeah, I just turned it off.
Yep, yep. Yeah. What religion are you?
I'm a Christian.
Okay. Yeah. What makes you think that God exists?
The fact that morality exists on an objective level.
Okay, sure. So I mean, I'm also a moral realist. I think morals are objective, but I have no idea why God would have anything to do with the objectivity of ethics because I'm not sure why God saying something gives me a reason to do that thing. Why does God saying that I should do something give me a reason to do it?
Because he would be an authority higher than ourselves.
Okay. But that's kind of question begging, depending on what you mean by authority. Maybe by authority you mean something like, the people whose commands give you reason to do what they say. But if that's what you're saying, well, that's the very thing in question. So
Right, but those are people questioning.
yeah, I'm asking you if you're saying objective ethics come from God, then what you would need to establish is that when God gives a command, that we have a reason to follow that command. So what reason do I have to follow that command?
Right. His authority is bigger than us as humans, right?
I don't grant that he has an authority bigger than us as humans. So why
Okay,
ought
why
I do
not?
what God tells me?
I didn't vote for him.
No, I'm asking you why what you just said that you don't grant that he has a higher authority,
You're
why
asking
not?
why I don't grant it? It's because I have no
Correct.
reason to think that I have any reason to follow what God tells me to do.
Okay, gotcha. You don't have any reason. So let's say that we can establish a reason that he
Okay.
exists, right? Therefore, he would be a higher authority than you, right?
If we can't establish a reason for why he exists, he would be a higher authority?
No, if we can establish that
If
he
you
exists,
can
right?
establish a reason for why he can exist, sure.
Exactly. Perfect. Okay, so I guess that's the crux of the
Yeah.
of the um of the argument, right?
But then
So
that means the moral argument fails because
no,
in
no,
order
the
to
moral
in order for the
argument will
moral
still
argument to
stand.
succeed, you would need to appeal to some other different argument.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the prompt is God isn't real, right?
Yeah.
And then when I mentioned, okay, why do I believe he's real? And I said because of moral objectivity. You
Mhm.
agreed, yes, moral objectivity exists, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So the reason it exists, why I'm saying it does, like the fact that it exists, is because there is a higher authority above ourselves that establishes it. You think that that authority does not exist,
Yeah.
right?
Why would I grant authority to God? Like why ought I listen to God?
The reason is because inherently, because he is the creator of you, he's the creator of me, he's the creator of everything, right? That would give him authority because you can't do those things, which he
Why?
can.
Why does that give me a reason to listen to what he says?
Well, because he's more powerful than you, is he not?
Do you think somebody being more powerful than you means that you have a reason to do what they say?
Absolutely.
Sure. So let's say like me and all my friends were like holding you at gunpoint. You would then say that we're like giving you reasons for action.
Yeah,
This
you're
is like
giving me
a
reasons.
might makes right style moral system, by the way.
Right, exactly. I mean, it is ultimately about power and who is authoritative in that sense. If
Mhm.
you want to then discuss who is more morally, like who's more right morally, like that authoritative power, like you know what I'm saying? Like obviously, if Hitler is the authoritative power, I would say that's a morally corrupt uh,
Why?
authoritative
He'd be
power.
the authority.
Exactly, which is the whole point of atheists, like that's the whole point, right? Like if society as a whole determines what morality is, right? That is ultimately like flawed and it's not objective anymore. It's subjective.
Whoa, who said
So
that
if you're
that's
gonna
what
agree with
atheists hold
me,
to? But namely, before we pivot to my morality, I do want to point out that you've totally failed to establish any reason that anyone has to listen to what God tells them. Let's say somebody doesn't give a fuck what God tells them. What reason do they have to do the things that God commands?
like I said, the reason is because he is an authoritative
What if they
power
don't give a
over us.
fuck that he's the authority power?
No, well, look again,
Then
he,
what
he
reason
doesn't
would they
force
have?
anybody to do anything. The
Sure,
reason
so
why
there's
free
no
will exists.
reason. So then your ethics are not universal. First, you need to subjectively decide to listen to God. And only after you've subjectively decided to listen to God, then you have a reason for action. But until that happens, your ethics are subjective.
I think you're conflating subjective ethics with the fact that free will exists.
Nope. In order for it to be an objective ethic, everyone would need a reason to follow it.
Right. So ultimately, subjective ethics don't exist. Objective ones do.
only if there's some sort of reason that everyone has to take specific actions, which isn't true on your view. You just conceded to me that there's no reason for a person to listen to God if they don't care what God says and they don't care that God's an authority. There's no reason for this person to do what God tells them.
Okay, but the fact that you think that I don't think that I should listen to God is a choice in and of itself. It's
Yeah,
a free will
exactly.
choice that
Why shouldn't
exactly.
they
So
make that
free
choice?
ultimately be no what you said, why shouldn't they make that choice?
Yeah. What reason do they have to not make that choice if they don't care about God's authority and they don't care what God says?
Because we have free will.
Okay, so because they have free will, them having free will gives them a reason to care about God, even if they don't care about God. Why?
Well, the reason it could be a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, which one? What's the reason? What reason does everyone necessarily have to do what God tells them?
Well, like I said, the biggest one is because he's an authoritative power.
But what if they don't care about that? Like, what if I don't care that God's an authoritative power? What then?
It doesn't matter because it's a subject. I mean, he's an objective power.
That's question begging. That's the thing in question. What if I don't care that God is a powerful entity? Why would I have a reason to do what he tells me?
I guess you don't. I mean, I guess you're right, but I
Okay.
guess because we're ultimately kind of proving the fact that free will does exist and you don't really have to listen to God, even though he is an authoritative power.
Okay. Well, in that circumstance, then what you end up with is subjective ethics. That in order for your ethics to get off the ground, you need to subjectively decide to listen to what God tells you. If you don't subjectively decide to listen to what God tells you, you have no reason for action, which means that the ultimate authority in your worldview is the self. It's subjective.
Okay. So when you say you have objective morality,
Yeah.
where does it come from?
It's necessitated by laws of logic.
Okay. Can you
So,
explain?
yeah. So I'm an agent. What that means is that I take actions in order to achieve my goals, but in order to achieve any of my goals, I must have my freedom and well-being. If I must have my freedom and well-being, I need for other people to not interfere with that. And if I need other people to not interfere with that, then I'm claiming to have a right to my freedom and well-being, just on the basis that I'm an agent. But if step one was I'm an agent and the conclusion is therefore I have a right to freedom and well-being, in order to remain logically consistent, I would need to give this same right to freedom and well-being to everybody else too. So all agents must have a right to freedom and well-being. That's kind of like the base moral system in terms of like the obligations that you have to other people.
Gotcha. So why do I guess like why do people sacrifice for others?
Why do people sacrifice for others?
Right. Like why would I put others' well-being over mine or vice versa? Like why do I do that for my wife and she
Mm.
does that for me?
So, what my moral system seeks to establish is the specific rights that people have, the things that you cannot interfere with. I think that if you want analysis for things like that, that's going to come down to like some sort of like virtue ethicist analysis of living a good life, about how in order to live a good life, you're going to need to be like a proper valuer of things, which is going to require valuing other people properly and putting their ends, treating them as like an end in themselves, as an intrinsically valuable being.
Gotcha. Now I'm convinced that like, for example, Muslims think that marrying a child off at like age 9 or something is probably good for them.
Maybe.
But why is it that they think that? And for example, I think that that's wrong.
Are you asking for like a causal explanation, or are you just asking like what in my view would justify why they're wrong?
Yes, I guess both. Like, yeah, like
Well, so the
why is that
causal
the case?
explanation is going to be something like historical factors and like societal factors, and the fact that society leads you to holding a lot of like the ethical beliefs that you hold. That to the extent that there are Muslims that think that it's fine to marry a 9-year-old, the reason for that, or the thing that causes that and sources that, is going to be something like cultural or something historical, and then the reason why they're wrong is that the child can't consent.
Hmm, okay. what if like I don't know. I guess maybe I don't know if I'm asking the same question or not, but like, why would it be wrong to like, for example, if I, the classic take out an insurance policy and then kill that person? Like, why wouldn't I do that? Like,
Yep.
why would that be wrong?
Yep, because you'd be willing a contradiction. So, in order to take out the insurance policy on someone and kill them, you'd basically need to be willing a right to kill other people. But in order to kill other people, you need a specific level of freedom and well-being. You need the freedom to go out there into the world, find the victim. I don't know, like do whatever it takes to kill them. I don't know, maybe you want to like shoot them or something. So you'd need to will all of that. But then at the same time, you'd be denying that agents have a right to life because you're killing someone. So you'd both be willing that an agent has a right to life, but also that agents don't have rights to life. So you'd just be
Mm.
contradicting yourself.
Right, but like I can also think that this group of people doesn't have a right to life because they're inferior for some reason, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yep. But
and they would be wrong, but on what basis are they wrong? Because it's
yeah, the basis for why that would be like a false judgment is because the argument starts from just I'm an agent, which means that the one property that determines whether or not you have this is just your agency.
right, but I don't think having agency necessarily means that. Again, I feel like if you're gonna say that having agency is the reason why we can make judgments of what right and wrong, then ultimately it does fall to being subjective, and there is no objective morality.
No, that doesn't follow. Specifically, subjective morality is going to apply when it's your stances, like your preferences or things of that sort, that determine what is moral and what isn't moral. Um, it's ultimately going to be grounded in agency, but determined via laws of logic. So if you violate that, then there's just going to be a contradiction in your worldview. So you're going to be mistaken. So the only coherent ethical system is the one that gives these rights to other people. All the other ones are self-defeating.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I have to get going. Well, thank you for
Yep.
the
Hey,
conversation,
thanks so
man. I
much for the
appreciate it.
conversation. Appreciate you. That dude was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Vintage Atheist, thanks so much for the super chat. Looking into nominalism versus types of realism today. That's great, Vintage Atheist. I'm really glad to hear that. I don't have super strong opinions on that. Like, I do believe that mathematical objects exist. So I'm a Platonist in that sense. But for like ordinary objects, like the water bottle, like I certainly don't think that there's like the Platonic water bottle out there. But I haven't looked too deeply into what sort of classifications there are for things like that. Kelly, thanks so much for the super chat, the cool Quarry membership. So appreciate you in style. Absolutely no airs. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Eat some shorts. Thanks so much for the super chat. They always bring up the soon and the moon. I'm sorry, I won't be cruel to you. They always bring up the sun and the moon, but no one talks about how perfect Uranus is.
But
That's fun. That's great. That's silly. D20, thanks so much for the super chat. Heart lock in. W. Larry, thanks so much for the $50 super chat. That's big, Larry. Thank you so much. Towards tuition or Batcave stuff or whatever. I really appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, I paid the tuition for the course recently, and I'm starting to, I don't know, maybe I might go and ask the professor like a freak if he'll help me publish. So I'm starting to like workshop some ideas for a paper that I might like to publish. One of the ideas that I have is I think that the first way, like the argument from change, is self-defeating. I think if you have an unchanged changer, then it's probably going to commit you to eternalism. That is like the past, present, and future are all actual. It's like the block universe, but it's kind of just like the block some total state of affairs view, right? Like kind of whatever the highest level of reality is in terms of like some total states of affairs, this thing must just be unchanging. But if that's true, then there is no argument from change. you know, that change in some sense doesn't exist. It doesn't exist at that level. You know, it's like something that we impose onto different time slices. So I don't know. That's what I was workshopping today. Helping MAGA deconstruct. Thanks so much for the super chat. Am I wrong, or do the heavens and the earth not say that the entire universe was created? I'm pretty sure the Israelites wouldn't have known about space, the outer solar system, or the vast universe. I'm not sure what sort of space knowledge they had. In fact, I think they believed space was made out of water, according to Genesis. Also, I mean, like ancient Greeks had knowledge of the cosmos. Before all this fucking light pollution, you could go and like look at the stars and like observe them. But no longer. Kelly, thanks so much for the super chat. Causal explanation was very helpful. Yeah. I'm glad. All right. Let's go to the very next guest. Or not. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I got 2 questions.
Yeah, what's up?
What do you think happens to us after we die?
I don't think anyone knows. I'm inclined to think that the mind just reduces to the brain, so probably you just stop existing.
Okay. I got another one. Do you think or do you hope you're wrong?
Not really. I don't know
No?
why I would. I mean, presumably.
All right. Well, that's all I had. So
Yeah. I think there's like a lot to unpack there. I guess like a couple of reflections. There's like a distinction in modality about like de re versus de dicto. Where so if I were to hold like a grudge against the person who stole my rake, and I think the person who stole my rake was Greg, but you know, the actual person who stole my rake was Marsha. There's like this term, like the person who stole my rake. And I think that the person who satisfies this term is Greg, when in fact it's like Marsha. There's no way I'm gonna be able to land the plane, dude. This is about to be like fucking 9/11. I'm sorry, guys. But I think it's kind of a question as to like what's held constant if I were wrong. Like if I were wrong, then on one hand, if I'm like wrong, but I continue to be an atheist, well, certainly I'm not going to be happy to be like burning in hell. So in that sense, like I hope I'm not wrong, and I also hope that I'm not wrong in like the same sense of like, you know, the person who stole my rake. Like no matter what my beliefs are, I hope I'm not wrong, and that those beliefs could be like Christianity, or those beliefs could be like I don't know, atheism or like Islam or something. And no matter what it is, like the entire category of like the things I hope I'm not wrong about, like is going to include whatever it is that I happen to believe. But I don't know, like, yeah, I guess it's a question of whether it's held constant or not. That probably was gibberish.
I can say that the concept of like my consciousness living forever for eternity sounds like torture.
No, just want to.
What?
What? Are you there?
Oh, my bad.
Okay. On to the next one. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Yep. What makes you think God exists? Or wait, sorry. What what religion are you?
Christian.
Yep. What makes you think God exists?
Well, pretty much just being in the sober community for about 4 years now. Like a lot of people in the rooms kind of lean on God, and like I know the book was written a long time ago. Like if you read like some of the writing, like it's just not gibberish, but like it's like old writing. But a lot of people get sober, and like one of the first rules, like when you get sober, is like you have to believe something higher than yourself or greater than yourself. So I'm just like wondering kind of like what you would say about that. Like yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I don't want to sound like disparaging or like I'm condescending, but I view stuff like that sort of in the same way that I view things like training wheels, or kind of like a general cope. Like I think that
Like a
these are
stepping
good.
stone.
It's like putting on like the bumpers at like the bowling alley. Like, I do
Mm.
think that people could genuinely get a lot of value out of that because religious communities are usually you like, depending on the outsiders, are usually pretty welcoming towards outsiders. They want more people to believe their religion. And I think that what a lot of people who have, like, substance abuse problems, need is, like, some sort of community. They need something to live for. They need,
It's
like,
very
something to fill
true.
that void. But, I think that this is like a like, I don't think that the belief is true. So, in that sense, I kind of think that the life is stabilized, but it's, like, kind of capped. I think that if somebody uses this to, like, stabilize their life, I think that's fantastic. If they use that to get sober, like, I think that's great. But after your life is stabilized, I think you should probably be trying your best to believe things that are true. Um, and there are just, like, good reasons to think that God isn't one of those things,
Mhm.
if
Yeah,
that makes any
that's
sense.
no, yeah, totally. I just really wanted to get your opinion on it. Um, do you have anything to say about like the agnostics in the program? That like people that don't believe in the program, like how you would agree with that, like they found something that helped them, or in kind of like that sense? I don't know if that made sense.
I think so. I mean, presumably, like a person who's agnostic, or a person who's atheist, or a person who doesn't believe in God, but is able to recover from whatever problem they have. Um, I'm sure that that involves like a variety of lifestyle changes for them, and like a lot of like direction changes. Like they probably find like a direction to their life. I think in that sense, like things like religion are like pretty cheap. It's they give direction like really easily. Like they tell you exactly what you're supposed to do. Um, but I think that there's like a lot more texture to what sort of life you can live if it's like away from a religious community. Like you can live a life with direction that isn't religious. But
Yeah, definitely.
mhm.
I also wanted to ask you too, like back when the book was written, I honestly couldn't tell you the year, which is shame on me, but the year that it was written, the doctor that actually wrote it, because I know you're very like fact-based and I am as well, that the doctor that actually wrote it, that he basically said like they tried everything like to cure addiction, alcoholism, like any form of that, and they were institutionalized. They were put in institutions and everything. And he found that the only way for these people to start getting sober was to give their life over to God and start believing God and everything. So I know you said like it's a good like kind of stepping stone and a good like to get in the right direction, but I've literally seen firsthand people's life change from this. Like
Mhm.
I personally haven't dove into that side. It's very hard for me to make that connection sometimes. So I just want to get your opinion on that about like the doctor writing the big book based off of
Wait,
his
which big
facts.
book? Like the Alcoholics Anonymous book or something?
Yes.
Um, yeah, so, okay, I'm not like an Alcoholics Anonymous historian or anything like that, but, one thing that I can't help but notice is that the people who wrote the book, were already Christians. I think that they might have had, I don't know, it's not like they discovered Christianity while they were trying to cure it. Um,
Oh, for sure.
I also think that there just are cases, like, things that you've pointed out, um the agnostics who are able to work their way through it. Like there just are cases of people who are able to overcome this without religion.
No,
I
for sure.
Mhm.
I just based off of my experience of being in the rooms that the people that give their life over to God versus the people that don't, there's definitely a ratio. Like there's definitely a higher rate of getting sober than the people that don't.
Mhm.
Like, and that's just from my personal experience. I don't know if you might be able to fact check that, but yeah.
I mean, I don't doubt that because I think what people who have like addictions really need is, um, they need like a life that's full of purpose and direction. And if they don't have purpose and direction, and they hang out with a lot of people who also don't have purpose and direction, then that's going to lead to them doing things like substance abuse.
Most
Um,
definitely.
so I think in that sense, religion can be like a very cheap solution to that. Like it gives you a purpose, even though, I think that purpose is like completely made up. like kind of like the underlying assumptions of that purpose are just like false. And in that sense, I think it kind of like takes away from the life because it constructs a life that is stable upon like a foundation that's just not true. But it does fulfill like the psychological roles that it needs to. Like it gives you the direction, it tells you what to do, it tells you how
For
to dedicate your
sure.
life, and it probably gives you a better friend group than the people who you were hanging out with and who were
Most
like
definitely.
fueling your substance abuse. So in that sense, I think it's like good and stabilizing. But in my opinion, it just shouldn't be permanent. Like you should be trying to figure out what's true as opposed to like what helps you um, like feel like your life is stable.
Most definitely. Well, thank you so much for your
Mhm.
time. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna head out.
Yep. Hey, thanks so much for coming on up. Appreciate you. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Um, make sure if you're in that guest request box, I ask that you be 18 or older. I ask that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I'll also accept like a deist if you believe in like a personal ultimate foundation. That's all fine. And with that, let's read some supers. Helping MAGA deconstruct. Thanks so much for the super chat. Christians have no reason to criticize Muslims. Over 300,000 Christian minors were married to older adults legally in America in the last 20 years. True. Helping MAGA deconstruct. Some states don't have a minimum marriage age or religious exemptions due to religious freedom. 36 Oklahoma Republicans voted for child marriage recently. Yeah, that's my understanding is that basically the way that it works in like a lot of red states where child marriage is legal is that the Democrats put forward a piece of legislation to try to abolish child marriage, and then the Republicans like bend over backwards. They twist themselves into pretzels to block it. They'll do anything to block the outlawing of like child marriage. That's like basically my understanding of the state of child marriage in the United States. Anyway, let's go to the next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Yep. And what religion?
Scientologist.
Okay. What do you
I'm not
believe in
sure
like
if
a
you.
god?
Yeah, I know you mentioned only Abrahamic gods. I wasn't sure if that is kind of exclusive to those people.
So, do you believe that there's like a personal being, like a mind, a being with a mind, and then all of all the things that exist eventually like trace their way back to that thing?
I don't think I do. Like, there isn't as much of a story to history, I'd say, as like the Abrahamic folks. Um, so definitely not like ancient like that, if that's what you're trying to imply.
Well, I'm not. That's not really what I'm asking. I'm more asking like you know, if if I were to trace the causal chain of my existence, like I was caused to exist by my parents, they were caused to exist by their parents, et cetera, et cetera. Like if I trace this chain back farther and farther and farther, would I eventually end up at like Xenu or whatever?
No, you wouldn't.
Okay. I guess I don't know. Do you believe in like a god?
Yeah, I believe that everyone harbors some sort of trauma in them, and that sort of trauma is something that you obviously want to cleanse from yourself, and it depends on there are different stages of cleansing. So you would have to go through the metering for that, and your counselor will deploy that on you during the sessions.
Mm.
Um, and you also go through different slide decks, and group sessions. Even the group sessions can get a little
I have a quick
intense.
question. Those little meters that they hook you up to, how do those work?
Yeah, so you basically
Like
it uses a
electronic, like what's going
combination.
on in the box.
Yeah, so basically during the session it's like a combination of your hands, like you have to hold out your hands and you have to like hold two pieces of aluminum, and that's how the metering
But
is
what's actually
measuring.
like happening in the electronics in the box? How's it sensing your thetans or whatever?
That is a question that I can't answer for you. I don't know like the mechanics behind it. But it does track your energy, and that is how we
Does it track
sense
your stress or your energy?
it. It tracks your stress basically.
So that's not energy then.
Well, I mean, I use that. It's used interchangeably. I mean,
It shouldn't. Those are two different things.
if you're like a physicist, obviously you're gonna not really believe that.
I am a physicist. And I am very curious about how those little electronic boxes work. Because to me, it just kind of seems like they stuffed a bunch of wires in it and
Yeah.
it just goes up and down at random
Based.
when you hold it.
They got the fucking Geiger counter in there.
Yeah,
A
well,
Geiger
what
counter would be
happens?
something. I don't even think this is that.
Well, what happens is like it can sense like how stressed
Well, I
you
know
are by
that's what
how
they tell
much.
you, but what's actually in there? Like, how could I build one?
That's something that you're not really told.
Why not? Isn't that suspicious?
It's just not necessary, and I don't think you should ask.
I mean, I'd love to be
like-
able to like replicate it under laboratory conditions.
Right, but I just don't think it's necessary to ask that question.
I mean, I'm
Mm.
asking it, and this is a very suspicious response. I mean,
Well,
I have access to
I
a
think-
lab. I can maybe even build one if it's easy.
Well, I think the problem is that it's just not necessary to answer that question or ask that question. Therefore, you shouldn't. Okay, wait. I'm like 50-50 on like whether or not you're trolling. So I'm going to give you like some quick Scientology trivia just to make sure that you're not trolling. What's name two books that what's his name? Fucking L. Ron Hubbard wrote?
L. Ron, yeah.
Yeah, what are two books that he wrote?
I can't give you the two books. I don't know the two books.
Can you name one?
No, I can't.
Name one fact about Scientology?
I thought we already went through that.
I'm pretty sure that you're trolling.
Okay, why do you say that?
This feels like information that like anybody would know. All right. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Whoa. Gosh. Yeah, I'm looking at the L. Ron Hubbard family tree. Yeah, of course this dude. Gosh, that's like it's like the reliable method of determining which religious figures are full of shit is just like which ones like the first thing they did was like form a harem. Like which religious figures got in there and started like fucking harem maxing. That's how you know the false religions. Muhammad did it, Joseph Smith did it, I think L. Ron Hubbard did it. All right, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. I'll also debate you if you're like a deist. That's fine too.
Hello,
hey,
God bless.
Hey, how's it going? How old are you?
I'm from Australia. I'm 65.
Okay.
Old man.
Okay. Yeah.
Where are you from, can I ask? Where are you based? I'm in Australia.
I'm from Colorado in the United States.
Oh, Colorado.
Yeah.
I think that used to be a lot on the TV, the cowboy and Indian films, wasn't it?
What?
When I was a kid. Colorado. Great front.
I'm not sure. But anyway, what religion are you?
Anyway. Thank you for sorry?
What religion are you?
What religion? I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not a religion. I'm not a Christian. I'm a Ambassador for Christ.
Do you think that God exists?
But what I wanted, sorry?
Do you think God exists?
Oh, definitely. He dwells in me, the Holy Ghost. Christ in you, the hope of glory. But
Okay.
I want to address a couple of points that your viewers have spoken, and yourself. You are when you say, "Why should I obey obedience to God?"
Yeah.
You're correct. And I bring that with the fact is that God only knows two types of people, but he speaks about three types of people in his word. And to bring why you are right to believe, why should I follow God, is coming back to that gentleman, that Christian who said that we have free will. Well, Christians, they believe they have free will, but no, we don't have free will, because if we had free will, we could sin. We could do what we want. God can't judge us because he gave us the free will to
Wait,
do
I'm
it.
sorry. I just want to know, why does God exist?
No, God gave us a choice.
I don't want to. I just want to make
Sorry?
sure that we're following in like a very linear fashion. Like we're just going in
Okay.
a way that makes
Sorry.
sense, as opposed to
Yeah.
going from like point to point, kind of like all over the place, and then like back to like a
No,
previous
it
conversation,
was all
something like that.
accumulating into the,
Yeah, I just wanted to know like what makes you think God
it was
exists.
accumulating to, well, this is the accumulation. I'll cut it short to this.
Mhm.
The reason why you don't believe to follow this entity, God, and how I can follow this entity. And that is because God dwells in us through a thing called baptism, as you will understand what that is. And we're baptized to receive the gift of the Holy Ghost, which is a new spirit. And you can't see God unless you're baptized with water. And you can't enter the kingdom of God unless you're baptized with water and the Spirit. And the Spirit with a capital S in the Bible means the Word of God.
So you would say
the reason
you'd
why
say
you
God
can't
is in
see
me.
God,
Let me clarify quickly. So you'd say God is in me. Okay, but I didn't always exist. So then you would say God is in different places in different times. So God like changes over time. Is that correct?
no. God indwells in us all,
Mm-hmm.
and he's calling to us all to go back to him. But we can't get back to him because we were held captive by an entity called Satan, which has developed all these religions that traps us and keeps us prisoners in captivity. And Jesus came to deliver us from religion to himself, to follow him by faith, not by sight. That's why someone like me, at 49 years old, I believed in God, but I didn't follow him. And then I was baptized correctly by a man who had the Holy. And I received of God, Christ in you, the hope of glory. I'm crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet Christ liveth in me. And from that day, I could see God. I could see the Father. Because God will reveal to you Jesus, the Son of God. But it's Jesus, the Holy Ghost in you, that will reveal the Father to you. But without the Holy Ghost, you cannot see the Father. So the reason why you can believe what you believe is God gave you a choice of life or death. Unalive. Forgive me for saying that.
That's fine.
God
Wait, but I'm sorry to cut
gave
you off.
you
I
the
just want to make
choice.
sure. I just want to make sure that we're actually going somewhere with here. So I formalized an argument here. So I have this argument. It's 4 premises into conclusion. So premise 1, God exists in me. Premise 2, I didn't
Yep.
exist at every time. Premise 3, if God exists in me, but I didn't exist at every time, then God exists in different places at different times. And if God exists in different places at different times, then God changes over time. Therefore, the conclusion of this argument would be that God changes over time. Would you disagree with any of these premises, or alternatively, would you just accept the conclusion?
I agree with number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to understand, why did God create us? Why did he create you? Because God created the angels to serve him. But God created us to have a relationship with him. I don't have a religion with God. I have a relationship with God. You have a relationship with your girlfriend, I believe you've mentioned.
Yes.
But you don't have a religion with your girlfriend.
Do you agree with the second one?
You have a relationship. Sorry?
Do you agree with the second one?
I didn't exist at every time. Well, I didn't exist until God created me.
Sure, yeah. So when I say I'm speaking of like myself, right? So you would agree, like I didn't exist at every time. Like I'm not an eternal being.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And would you agree
God
that
created
from
you in the right time. Yeah.
yeah, from these like last two premises,
God created you at the right time. Yeah.
from these last two premises, it follows that God exists in different places at different times because God exists in me, but not always. So he exists at me and in me at some times, but not others. So God exists in different places at different times.
He doesn't exist in different places in different times. He exists everywhere all the time.
Yeah, but what there is at different times changes. So the things that God exists
No, a man
in
changes. History
at different
changes.
times.
When you say different times change, what do you mean by that? Can I ask?
Yeah, so I didn't exist, and then I began existing, and then one day I'll no longer exist. So God goes from
Yeah.
not existing in me to, for the duration of my life, he exists in me, and then after my life is over, he will no longer exist in me. So there are some times where God exists in me, but he doesn't exist in me at all of the times.
I understand what you're saying, but because God dwells in me, he's given me the gift of eternal life, which he gave us from the beginning, but that was stolen from us. And when I move on, pass on, I will live with my Father again. That's my reward in heaven. My reward in heaven is to be with my Father again.
Whoa, please, no more lore. I just want to know, do you agree or disagree with the thing that I just laid out?
I disagree, because you got your hand on the door handle, but you haven't opened the door. That's where I'm going with what you're
not
saying.
sure what the relevance of that
you
is.
speak very good. You speak very wise wisdom. And I think possibly that's because you've read a lot. But because we've got to get our wisdom from somewhere. And you speak very wise, very confidently. And that's why I was listening, because I was interested in what you were saying and how you were saying it. But what you were saying is you're kicking against God.
I'm certainly kicking something. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Yep. How old are you?
26.
Yep. And what religion?
Sorry. I don't want to say what religion. I just want to say I believe in God.
Okay. Well, I mean, your profile picture is a picture of Thomas Aquinas, and your name is Crusader Knight. But okay. Yeah. What makes you think God exists?
Because why I think God exists is because there's a higher authority, higher power that leads us to the right path, unlike humans. Yeah, unlike humans who don't know what they're doing, God leads us toward a right path, a righteous path.
So God exists because God exists and he leads us to a right path?
Yes.
That's circular.
Religion helps us. Religion gives most of the morals that there are today. So yes.
Where does Christianity give the moral that you, I don't know, shouldn't marry your cousin?
Oh, sorry. My Wi-Fi cut off. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Where does? Fuck. Wait. Let me make sure that I'm not about to fall into a trap. I'm pretty sure this is the one Christianity says or like doesn't mention. But does Christianity ever tell you not to marry your cousin?
I'm not sure. I know Islam does, but I'm not sure Christianity does. The Bible.
Okay. Yeah. So where do you get that ethic?
Where I get my morals from?
No. Like specifically, one of the ethical beliefs that you and I hold is that you shouldn't marry your cousin. Where do you get that ethic from? How do you arrive at that ethical belief?
I think we get it from ourselves.
Oh.
But
so not
yeah.
God.
Well, God put this into to us. So yes, from God, basically.
So you think God gave us like the moral intuitions that marrying your cousin was wrong? Then why did people for
Sure.
so long throughout history, why were people marrying their cousins?
Well, I said, like I said before, they don't know what they're doing, and God gives us this a right path, gives us these laws to follow to the right path.
So let me get this straight. You're saying that humans didn't have the moral intuition that it was wrong to sleep with your cousin, and then sometime in like the last, I don't know, 200 years, God put that moral intuition in?
No, wrong. Humans always had this. It's just they never understand it until someone tells them
It
to.
certainly doesn't seem like it. And God never told them.
Hello?
Yep.
I think I'm gonna have to come back. My Wi-Fi is kind of shitty right now. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep. All right. Well, make sure you're double tapping on
Can you
that.
hear me?
Nope. It sounds like you're big lagging. Holy shit. All right, let's go to the next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hello there.
Yep. How old are you?
How are you?
Doing well.
I'm 31.
Yep. And what
And
religion are
I
you?
am Islam.
Yep. What makes you think God exists?
Okay, so it is about the design. Meaning meaning who created these mountains, how and the sea and the trees and so forth. How have they been created? You got
That's
the idea?
it's a great question. Yeah, for the mountains, they came together via millions of years of plate tectonics.
It is a possibility, not like a certainty, right?
Oh, I mean, we know where. Are you denying that that's where mountains come from?
I am denying that it is a certainty. I am saying that it is
You're certain that
a
God did it, though?
possibility.
Yeah. What's the evidence that makes you certain that God did it?
No. Excuse me. Let me explain. First of all, in my view, it is a problem of premises. By that, I mean that this statement of the certainty of, I mean, if we can prove certainly that God existed or God did not exist, it is wrong.
But how do you know that
the
I can't
argument
prove that
of-
God doesn't exist? How would you know that?
Yes. Okay, so this is a question that I should ask you, okay? This is partly, but I also have an answer to that, which is I consider God, this problem of God or consciousness, but let's stay in God as a transcendental problem. By that, I mean that it is outside of our realm of certainty. I mean that we cannot use
How do you know?
our cognition.
How do you know?
How I know that it is outside?
Yeah,
It
how do you
is
know?
simple. Okay. So it is simple. You cannot see God, okay? And this basis, like for example, for scientific things, like we can use some like our cognitive ability in order to prove them, that if they are true or if they are wrong. But for God, we cannot use those abilities. Now, my question to you, how do
What
you
a
prove
total
that?
yap. Like literally not even like, okay.
Okay, tell me, please tell me, how do you prove that God is not real?
Yeah, very easily. So, okay.
Thank you.
Either God was eternally creating or at some point he began to create. If God was eternally creating, then creation just eternally exists, which means that he never actually creates it. The alternative to that is that
No,
God
no.
begins to
Okay.
create it, which means that it would come into existence and God would change. He would change from not creating to creating. But if he changes, then he's in time. And if he's in time, well, he can't be the creator of time.
Excuse me. The definition of the word creating does not fit what you are saying. Like, you cannot.
Like cause to come into
like-
existence?
No. You cannot create something that is not created. So, if God creating, that it is by default that something was not already created.
Yeah, that's the problem. That is where the contradiction comes from. The fact that God didn't create the thing that he created means that he couldn't have been eternally creating. Yeah, you got it.
Yes, but this is your argument. Like it does not fit about God. It fits about its creation. I am asking you, how can you prove that God is not real?
I just proved it. You had nothing to say about the
No,
disproof.
No, man. You did not prove that.
Can you
God
summarize back
is-
the argument that I made?
Yes, sure. You said that God is creating or is beginning to create, and I criticized this statement by simply saying
You
that
reject the law of
what you are-
excluded middle? You don't think either a thing is
No,
a
no,
case
man.
or not the case?
I told you that what you are saying about the word creation is not making sense. It's like you are not talking about God. You are talking about its creation, which is different. Now, if you are meaning about God being created, that is another story. What are you saying specifically?
Okay. I'm not going to run through the argument. You can check the replay, I guess. I'm not interested in rehashing the argument that you didn't listen to the first time. All right, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. And with that, we will go to the very next guest. I also ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
Old enough to be crucified, 33.
Okay. And what religion are you?
I'm a Baha'i, so we do believe in the Quran, Bible, and Torah. Is that out of the scope?
That's maybe fine. But do you believe that there's like an ultimate foundation of reality and that foundation is personal?
I'd say that there's an ultimate foundation of reality. I'm not sure if it's personal. I think that we personalize it.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that we would disagree then. Like, I could maybe even agree that there's an ultimate foundation to reality. So what do we disagree on?
That there's some kind of force that indwells within us, I guess. And that force is divine.
What makes
Strictly
it?
speaking, there's 4 forces, but I
Well,
digress.
when you say divine, what do you mean?
Celestial, I don't completely know what I mean by divine. Something far beyond us, something
Beyond us on what metric?
like outside of the universe.
There's something
but also
inside of us in the universe that's outside of the universe?
It goes outside the universe, but then it comes into us and it comes back out.
So it's both in and outside of the universe? It's both?
Is this
At
just the
different
force from
times.
Star Wars?
You could call it the Force from Star Wars. I mean, George Lucas was inspired by a lot of Eastern stuff.
Okay, so I think I might understand your view. That you think that there's something that's both like transcendent and immanent within us, that it's both like in us and kind of contains like all of the being, but also that it's like not exhausted by all of the being in our universe, that there's like something additional outside of it. So do you think that it's all good, that the ultimate foundation is all good?
I think that it's everything, so it's good, it's bad. My faith personally says that
Is it perfect?
evil is an absence of good, but personally I'd say it's good and bad. Well, what was the second thing you said?
Wait, is it perfect?
I don't know what perfection would mean on that level. I'd say that it's ultimate. It's the alpha and the omega. Does that make it perfect? I don't know.
Okay,
Like
well,
perfect at what? Table tennis?
sure. So then you reject quite a few claims from quite a few of those books, because books like the Bible will state pretty explicitly that God is perfect.
Like, I'm not even sure about the OO properties. And personally, it's a lot easier to give up one of those to deal with a lot of like the divine hiddenness and the problem of evil. Like Baha'is, at least for the all omnibenevolent, they say it's the most good, so it's a Mu God.
Oh, okay, sure. Sure, so it's the most good. Okay.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem like it could be the case because of all of the evil in the world, that it seems like this could easily be better. For example, you know, if like one fewer rape happened, the world would be easily better. But in this instance, God is like the rapist and he is the act of, you know, the event occurring. So it seems like God could easily make the world better. So he can't possibly be the most good.
I don't know. Like, if I were on the throne, sure, maybe I'd have some notes. I don't know what God's got to contend with running a whole universe and possibly multiverse or omniverse. So, and also a bunch of, I look at it, the world as being contingent upon it, a bunch of cause and effect stuff, and it doesn't really abridge that. So for whatever reason, it can't or won't. So that's why I'm I'd pretty quickly give up one of the O's, that it's all powerful, because it can't or won't interact with the world in order to stop stuff like that.
What explains the fact that it's not all powerful? Or like you're saying that God is like this limitation, but what is it that limits God?
I guess that it really only works through people. I'd say that it interacts with people as conduits. Like, I guess in my personal view, it set up a system where eventually something would evolve where it could create basically apertures in which the universe could view itself, if that is tracking.
Why does it want to? Why would it care?
Why would it care?
Why would it need to, even?
I don't know. It could be an autonomous process. The faith says that I loved ye, hence I created thee. So I guess it just loved us so much that it created us.
Okay.
I don't know. I run up against the faith sometimes with how it explains things.
Okay. That
Just
seems
for me
like it
that-
couldn't possibly be true. It seems like there's like a lot of things that happen that are like strictly not loving.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like this is distinguishable at all from just like a normal force of nature like gravity.
I mean, possibly. I don't know. I don't know how God works completely, unfortunately. Like in the same way that we don't know why the speed of light is what it is, as far as I know.
Well, we do know that. It's because of the permittivity and permeability of free space.
Really? I need to look that up. Grok didn't even answer that. It's like, I don't know.
No, don't use AI or LLMs to learn physics, please.
Okay, fair enough. Can you run by permeability of what?
permeability and permittivity of free space. Basically, it tells you how easily an electric or magnetic field can like leak out into space.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah, but beyond that, there's like some eschatology that was fulfilled in my faith. There was, if you wouldn't call it a miracle, a miraculous event, and also in Eastern traditions. But the Eastern traditions, I only found them in books, so anecdotal evidence, of course.
I'm not sure how there could be any eschatology fulfilled when that literally refers to like the end of times stuff.
I mean, the way that we view eschatology is that it's not the end times, it's a fulfillment. Maybe I need a different word to describe it, but
Like prophecy?
prophecy, yeah, sure, that works better.
Okay, yeah. What's the prophecies that have been fulfilled and what are the miracles?
Well, first off, are you aware of the Millerite schism?
Kind of, like vaguely. Isn't that the schism with like Seventh-day Adventists?
The Seventh-day Adventists were formed from that. But basically, William Miller was like, Jesus is coming back in 1844, and then he didn't come back. But in Iran, like the predecessor prophet to my faith, like he was making the announcement that God was coming back. And then he's like, the one who God will make manifest is coming back. And then Baha'u'llah claimed to be the one who God will make manifest.
Okay, so you're saying that this person, why would I think that this person is God?
I mean, there's the miracle of the martyrdom of the Bab. Like, it's not completely unexplainable through naturalistic means, but basically, he was captured for raising a bunch of heaven in Iran, and they were going to shoot him, and he's like, sorry if I can't say that.
You can say it, I don't care.
Okay. Yeah, but he's like, I got one more thing to write. You can't shoot me until I finish writing the thing. But they're like, no, we're going to shoot you now. So they tied up his hands, fired a first volley, and when the first volley was gone, he was back in his cell. They'd all missed, and somebody hit the rope, and he finished the thing writing, he finished the writing that he said he couldn't be killed until he was done.
Okay, wait, let's
And
is there like a source that makes this claim? Like which sources make this claim that he like teleported?
Some people say he teleported. I say he just kind of scurried back to his cell.
Oh.
He could.
You're saying that so he was tied up and then, well, yeah, isn't like the obvious explanation that they just like missed?
According to non-Baha'i sources, it was an excessive amount of riflemen. According to Baha'i sources, it was 750.
Is that more than an excessive number?
It's still an excessive number.
How far away were these like hundreds of people?
I don't know. I'd assume pretty close. They didn't write down the exact distance, unfortunately.
Like, how did they not accidentally shoot each other? They all have to be like side by side.
Yeah. To my understanding, they were in lines of 250, and the first volley. So I guess for the first volley, 250 men shot. But I don't know. I don't know how army regiments work. Could they have done that?
Is there like some non-Baha'i source that gives an account of this?
Yeah.
What's the non-Baha'i source account of this?
There was like a Russian source, an Iranian source. I didn't bring it with me. They've got a Wikipedia page. Unfortunately, I should have come more prepared with that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I guess like the naturalistic explanation might be, they missed him and instead they shot the rope, or perhaps like none of them actually wanted to be the person that shot him, so instead everyone shot the rope or something of that sort.
Like I said, there's not a natural explanation for this thing. Usually that's the pushback that I get. And I was told by Baha'i that's actually an atheist, but Baha'i don't completely get it. But in our literature, or one of the literature of our faith, like literally the captain of the regiment was a bit scared and he didn't want to do it. So he could have ordered them. So in terms of being a miracle in that it abridges reality, it has a naturalistic explanation. But if God had something to do with it, then
Well,
yeah, it would be pretty good evidence. But
I totally agree with
interepistemologically,
that, right? Like if
yeah.
God had something to do with it, that would be crazy evidence. But okay, do you have anything else?
Let's see. There's also Quranic prophecy that pointed to 1844, but that's a bit less convincing because the guy could have just been like, it's the time now, I'm going to be the guy. There's miracle of quick writing, I guess. I shouldn't say miracle there. Like one of our books was written in like 2 nights, and it's like over 100 pages.
Is it good?
Apparently, I haven't read that one. It's called the Kitab-i-Iqan.
How do you spell that?
The Book of Mormon was written also like in a night or something.
But they want to say that the Book of Mormon is like transcribed over like I think 3 nights.
Still pretty quick.
Yeah, let's read some of the prose from this. Okay, wait. What's the name of the book?
Kitab-i-Iqan. Kitab.
B.
Just B.
B.
Kitib. Iqan.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
PDF. Okay, wait. And your claim is that this was written in 2 nights.
I believe so.
Okay.
It was written possibly in a night. I don't remember exactly.
Okay, let's go to a random page. Question: with reference to the ablutions, if, for example, a person hath just bathed his entire body, must he still perform his ablutions? The commandment regarding ablutions must in any case be observed. Wait, is it really all written? They can't this can't be the way that it's written.
I think that's from the Akdas.
It's from the Q&A portion of it.
Yeah, only the Kitab-i-Akdas has a Q&A portion as far as I know. It's the Kitab-i-Iqan.
Oh, I am looking at the Akdas. Wait, what's the one I'm supposed to be looking at?
The Iqan.
IQAN. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but that specifically has to do with a lot of the eschatology that was fulfilled with how, Revelation is progressive, that God sends multiple prophets, evidence is for God. I don't think you'll find anything that scratches the itch for evidence of God there, personally. I used to be an atheist, and we got another book called Some Answered Questions, and the guy who wrote it, he has evidences for God, and it wouldn't have convinced me when I was an atheist, to be honest, but no arguments really work. The only thing that you can really point to, in my opinion, is not stories, events that happened.
Well,
and
I'm probably not going to find any of this compelling, so I think I'm probably going to move on to the next one. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 21 years old.
Yep. And what religion?
I'm a Christian.
Okay. What makes you think God exists?
So, from a personal standpoint, I mean, I have my whole testimony. I was raised atheist, but I think going through college and learning psychology, I had always felt that if I believed in science, I had to reject God. But then the more I went through philosophy, I've realized that there's a reason that God is brought up for centuries and centuries and
Mm.
centuries. And you can say it's for power, but regardless, we get power with or without God.
Mhm.
So it felt ignorant to say that I know everything because I know science, because there are scientific anomalies that happen in psychology,
Mm.
geology, and the medical field that cannot be explained by science.
Yeah, I'm often
And
saying this, we can just explain everything with science, except I don't know any atheist that says that. But you mentioned philosophy. Is there like a good reason from philosophy that makes you think that God exists?
well, so when I focused on science, what it made me ask more questions because we have the Big Bang, and then I took a science class and I was like, okay, tell me when the Earth started. And nobody can agree. Nobody in all of history, nobody can agree when the Earth started. So
What?
then, and yeah, so nobody, if
You can
you,
just Google that.
yeah,
Uh,
you can Google it, but there's different scientists that are credible scientists. And,
There's a consensus.
yeah, this is a matter of
it's,
consensus for
it,
4.5 billion years.
that's by a certain group of scientists, but then
No, it's
again,
just
any
the
theory, any good
consensus.
theory can be disproven.
Yeah,
Any
we
good
agree with
theory in
that.
science has to be disproven, has to have an argument
Sure.
to be
And
disproven.
that number has not been disproven.
Yeah.
I've not seen any convincing evidence to say otherwise.
Well, exactly. So the Earth was born 2.6 billion years ago. I'm like, cool,
4.5.
that's awesome. So there's a Big Bang theory. Or
No.
yeah, the Big Bang, that's the show. The Big Bang, right? Do you guys
No,
believe
the
in the
Big
Big
Bang
Bang?
Theory isn't the show, it's the theory. Like the Big Bang Theory is like it's also the show, but it's, the Big Bang Theory
Yeah.
does refer to the thing.
So if you believe, I believe
Also,
in the
4.5
Big Bang
billion
theory.
years is not the Big Bang. 4.5
Yeah.
billion years out is the age of the Earth, and then the universe is like 13.8 billion since the Big Bang.
Yeah, which I do believe in the Big Bang. My theory is, since we don't know the origin of the Big Bang, I believe that everyone is trying to find the higher power, and but the higher power can be defined as the word God, but we all feel this sense of energy that started the universe.
We do?
That so that higher power, and I think Christians in the past have taken the Bible literally and out of context, whereas now, like in psychology, we encourage community, we encourage individuals to find their purpose. And there are concepts that can show the scientific benefit of believing in it. So there is a benefit to believing in religion, even if it's not proven correct.
I
It
feel
can,
like I didn't get like clear evidence at all. Like, what's the clear evidence that God? It can be philosophical if you want. You said that there's like good philosophy evidence.
so the philosophy is that we wouldn't have consciousness, if we were to evolve as we are,
Mhm.
like as all animals have, we wouldn't have a consciousness. So I believe there is
Why not?
God because
A consciousness seems very useful for survival.
Yeah.
but the thing is that we can't we can't consciously study conscience, and that is something that has been untouched. And
Sure we can.
Yeah, you can study
can't,
other
and
people's
at least
conscience.
and I mean, I'm literally getting a master's in psychology. We can study so much, but you can't,
Why not?
I mean, like, you can hook up EEGs to somebody's head and like tell when they're awake versus when they're asleep.
Yes,
Whether
and
conscious or unconscious. That's a way to
and
study consciousness.
the most we have, it's like a drawing board in your brain, where you're taking in all the information around you and processing it, and that is something that happens naturally over time. But why is it that we're able to feel all of these negative, like depression and anxiety and all of these harmful things that were developed over time? I feel as though mental health and all these problems, the way they started was like a form of punishment. Like, I feel like I went
God
through a
makes
hard
people
life.
depressed?
But also, this can appear in animals too.
Yeah, so yeah.
God
why
punishes
is
the
God punishing?
hamsters?
Yeah.
It's like I had to go through a hard life to reach rock bottom. And if I didn't reach rock bottom, I wouldn't have found fulfillment. And it's
Okay.
so hard to explain, but like I had to reach rock bottom and hit another level of vulnerability. So even like
Oop, you're off the app. You got to be on the app.
subjective validation is used amongst all religions, and it's like I don't understand why we're basing it off of how individuals have perceived
Wait,
their
sorry.
So
I
is
just
it
want to.
supposed to be
Wait,
punishment or not?
wait. Yeah, I just want to go back to the God punishes hamsters by giving them depression. Why would God do that? That seems kind of weird.
God allows the devil to punish us. He allows us to test our
But what about hamsters?
allegiance to him.
Why would he do that to hamsters? Like hamsters get depressed.
Yeah, that's a chemical imbalance that is a biological explanation, which God created biology, and he also created
Oh, why would he do
doctors and
that?
veterinarians. He created experts to help fix that so that we all work together.
What about
The
the
whole
ones in the
point of life
wild?
is love and community. If we don't hurt, we don't have happiness.
What about the ones in the wild though? They don't get like veterinarians.
They get healed by other sources, in which that's why there's scientific anomalies that
Really?
happen that shouldn't happen.
What about the ones that die?
Well, okay.
Everyone
I'm
has
sorry.
that. Everyone
Could
and
you name like
everything
two
has to
sources
die.
that they get healed from? You say the
Yeah, that
hamsters in the
too.
wild get healed from their depression by sources. Like name one? Like I think you just made that up.
There are natural sources to healing depression. There's physical activity that can anything. So if a hamster were to find other hamsters in community, anything that releases those positive chemicals. So you would actually have to break down which neurotransmitter in the hamster makes them happy. And then we'd have to study what elements in the wild ignite some of those neurotransmitters.
Well, why
So if we
couldn't that
really
just be the
want
explanation for humans and why humans get depressed?
absolutely, and that's how we use to cure it in there. And I think we're so complex that we can't just be happy with the way science is. We need an explanation, because even science doesn't tell me where we all came from. So
Well,
we all, yeah.
okay, wait. Let's just like slow down here. So then you would agree that the thing that explains why we feel depression is biological, which of course we could explain with God not existing. Like atheism can explain why biology exists.
Yeah, and the problem is that we have biology, we have evolution, we have everything in the world the way it is, but nobody, atheist or anybody who doesn't believe in God, can explain where it comes from. But as
We
a
can
Christian,
explain
I
where
can say,
biology
yeah,
comes from.
God created physics, all this science that we continue to discover every day that we know nothing about. There is a divine power that knows every
Wait,
little
you say
thing.
we discover it, but we know nothing about what? That's a
Things that we
nonsense
have
statement.
not, things that we have not discovered and know nothing
So it's
about.
just a god of the gaps then. We don't know the things that we don't know. Of course that's true.
Yes, and that's, and it's like, do you think that like there, if we can question if there's a God, if we can think complex enough to question higher power, and I've even gone far, I'm like, well, I believe in aliens, so I wonder if our divine energy, the energy that everyone's gravitated towards, I wonder
I think we should
he
maybe
sent a prophet
focus.
to each universe.
Yeah, how about we just
And
pick one point and we stick to it instead of like trying to expand the conversation to something else?
I'm
You
just a
said that
very complex thinker. I'm sorry.
that's okay. That's
I'm all over
okay.
the place.
I'm a very like linear thinker. I like just going in like from like step A to step B to step C. Okay, so it sounds like we can explain consciousness, and we can also explain things like the origin of life. The forming of you have amino acids that combine to form nucleotides, which combine to form nucleotide pairs, which combines to form things like RNA. And then some RNA fragments are going to be self-replicating and have a metabolism. So when you get one of those that's surrounded by like a phospholipid bilayer, you're going to have the very first protocell. And then it just undergoes Darwinian evolution. It just undergoes natural selection to become like a full-blown cell.
And I think that's so beautiful. And like, there's only something so divine and complex and so intelligent beyond our intelligence could be capable of creating
Why couldn't
a
laws of
process.
physics give rise to that?
Laws of physics, because we don't know everything. Most definitely not. We
But why
can't
can't we
explain
just know this
everything.
one thing? It can be true that we don't know everything, but we could know this one thing. We could know that there are certain like chemical pathways that form, and that this gives rise to the very first life form.
Yeah, like for example, we
Yeah.
don't know what dark matter is, but that's not necessary for the evolution of life.
That's where it's like anywhere that there's gray area for you, there's also gray area for me. I just don't
But you
think
said we couldn't
that I
explain
can't
it.
put
You said
I
my
can't
worldview couldn't explain it, and that your worldview could. But now you're saying our worldviews are on equal footing.
yeah, we're on equal footing,
Okay.
but like in the sense of science, like what's actively on Earth, but what create like I'm talking way back to why is the universe here? Why do we have stars? Yeah, they're gases, okay, but
We know why we have
why do we
stars.
exist? Why does Earth exist? What's the point of
Do you
making
want
money
Gravity.
are you interested
without
in like a serious answer to any of those questions? Like we can go one question at
yeah.
a time and just explain. Well, yeah, let's go one question at a time. So the Earth exists because particles got pulled together via forces of gravity. Gravity exists because of the geometry of space-time, and the geometry of space-time is necessary and emerges from the wave function. In terms of like why does the universe exist? I'm not sure why I would think that the universe didn't just always exist. Why I would think that it was like caused into existence. Are there any other questions you want answers to?
Oh my gosh, everyone in the comments are so mean.
They are.
Don't read the comments.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well,
Oh no, she left. Guys, you made her cry. No. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends to know that good stuff. Make sure that you're double tapping on that screen. If you're in that guest request box, I ask that you're 18 or older. I ask that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. You can also join if you're like if you're I don't know, like a deist. Deists are also allowed to join. Kane. Ooh, Kane, thanks so much for the super chat. How to start a harem? Asking for a friend. I don't know what the fuck that is. Zero clue. Eat some shorts. Thanks so much for the super chat. Oh, how to start a harem? Asking for a friend. I think you have to claim to get like revelation from God, and then as soon as you get the following, I think the harem just kind of is like there, something like that. I don't know. That's like the Muhammad strat. Eat some shorts. Thanks so much for the super chat. In me, not in me. I wish God would just finish already. That's funny. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. Hamsters just need to start doing yoga. Shaking my damn head. True. God's sinner, thanks so much for the super chat. God's gap keeps getting smaller. He should buy more trainers from Caracal. I think I get this. Is this like a butt plug joke? Maybe I don't get it at all. I have like genuinely zero fucking clue. I could be like totally wrong. I don't know, man. All right. Make sure you're
don't look at me.
yeah. Let's all look at Quantanaut for some guidance in a moment like this.
Oh God, the pressure.
All right, let's get the very next guest.
Hey, how
Hey,
you
how's it
doing?
going?
Good. I'm over 40, and yeah, I consider myself a Gnostic theist now. That's just as a side note. But I guess I have the Kabbalah for the soul in front of me, and I've tried to delve into several texts, minus the Bible, but more or less to figure out how to articulate my positions on this. And so I was gonna mention that when you're talking about the contradiction of God both being the source of creation and within creation, that in the Kabbalah, the first emanation, right? Emanation is given to at Zerlut. And in the Hindi, it's kind of given to Shakti, right? And so it's considered a pre-creation emanation.
Wait, what? Wait, so so creation is emanated, so it's not created.
Meaning these the emanation gods, Shakti in the Hindi, and Etzelut in Judaism or in the Kabbalah, are precursors to Brahma in the Hindi
That just didn't answer the question. What specific? Let's get specific. What gets emanated here? Is it creation?
No. Light, a special light is considered an emanation.
Do the photon fields also get emanated?
Well, obviously these texts aren't going there. All I'm trying to do by mentioning this to you is to establish that the singularness of the God types that is causing you to have a notion of contradiction already has a split both in Hinduism and in the Kabbalah. And so I
gotta be straight up with you. I don't care. Do you have like a reason to think that God exists? I don't care about the split between like Hinduism or like Kabbalah unless there's like unless it like gets us to like God somehow.
Okay. Well, well, I was an atheist until I saw things that I had zero rational explanation for, and so I attributed those to a higher dimension, if you will, right? And it kind of cracked my sense of natural stability itself, like it kind of broke me. And so that would be my like a kind of an anecdote that started me off on, because I was an atheist until that happened, and then it just cracked me. So I can't really distribute that insight to you nor anyone that believes in textual religions and narrative religions. I started with that event, and then for like Quanta in the room, along with Ian, I was thinking just recently about how to speak of codomains, dimensional codomains, right? Such as that we're in the first, second, third, and time would be the fourth dimension. And then you would have, and so that would be where you trace everything backwards in time causally. That way.
Not really. Dimensions just sort of describe the system. It's not like the cause of the system.
No. What I'm saying is this: is that if we are existing and observing the world within this system, but we know that you got in string theory up to 10 dimensions, and then you got the 11th at M. That a codomain where you say, okay, we're in the fourth dimension, and then there's a codomain that could be higher where an intelligence could fit in.
So
that would
God's
be
in the
outside
universe?
of.
God's on the same manifold?
And that, it's like
It sounds like that would just be a powerful alien, not a god.
Well,
that seems to mean that God is physical.
Also, to be clear, in string theory, all those extra dimensions are like wound up and compactified on each other. So it's not like there's any room for another god.
Well,
it's more like how a string is technically three-dimensional, but only one of those dimensions is like significantly large.
I also, maybe I'm like totally fucking out of my mind, but I thought that if you have like a position on any dimension within a manifold, that position can only be described with a dimensional position along all manifolds. So that God must have a spatial position as well. I could be wrong about that.
Right. Well, and I was going to address that because when you had the other person on, right? Because I was ChatGPT and some of this and trying to draw out
we can tell
codomains.
Yeah.
Well, no, excuse me. I mean, I mean, that's well. I mean, you can say you can tell on it. That's fine. But I do read books and texts, and I don't rely on that. But so whatever your ascription is interesting in and of itself. That being said, though, the idea though of saying that you're looking at cause and effect, like I came from my mom and my parents came, and it
Yeah.
goes back in time to this many billions years, is kind of a different direction than talking about a higher dimensional intelligence, despite Quanta saying, well, this would have to be inside of this, there's no room for a mind. And I'm not disagreeing with the alien comment either, but and here lies the rub, which is this. If there is an alien species or group, if you will, that is at such a higher field of technology, if you will, then I would assume that we on our level, if I say that I have experience in encountering some aspect of that, or which is where my reason lies in terms of being a theist. But nonetheless, I'm not disposing the idea of God being a higher dimensional creature, and that the classical version of God as creator of the universe is like something that is not necessary.
Maybe we
still
could
be a
get this on
theist.
track a little bit. So you're saying that
Okay.
God has a spatio-temporal position. Do you think that God created space-time?
No. Yeah. That's what I mean. Space-time would
Oh.
be the first 4 dimensions.
Wait, if you think that
higher
he exists in one of the higher dimensions, so okay, let's say that we have like an 11-dimensional reality. In order to
Mhm.
have a point on anywhere in this 11-dimensional reality, you would need to have a point along the other 11 dimensions as well.
No,
Like
not
your
necessarily.
point needs to be described by all 11 dimensions.
Quanta, do you know who Sabrina Gonzalez Paderewski is in terms of her theory that subsumes Einsteinian gravity? Kind of a
No, that name
flattening.
does not sound familiar at all. And if you're trying to overturn Einstein's general relativity,
I'm not
you're going to have a
overturning it.
bad time.
No. Just like we're not overturning Newtonian physics either. I'm just saying Paderewski has a theory that flattens the whole universe, and it kind of dismisses a
Oh, is
bit
this just a
of
holographic
relativity.
principle theory?
Well, you'd have to go into depth. I mean, when I read it, it was very compelling. But as far as how I retained it, I was kind of limited in that regard. But and I think her last name is Pasterski, Sabrina Gonzalez Paderewski. So you'd have to look into that. But it kind of supplants the gravity as the Einsteinian mass.
I don't see what that has to do with like extra dimensional aliens.
Well, the point is all I'm doing is saying that if there's already another level of theories on gravity, space, and everything, then when In says there would have to be a point up here if God is also moving dimensionally at the lower levels. And so what it would be like saying
No,
this-
the opposite.
They're just saying that if they're anywhere in space-time, or if they're anywhere in any dimension, they're in space-time as a whole. So you can't be the creator of the thing that you're already inside.
Well, the point is if space-time as we know it is below the 4th dimension, right?
Well, I
but
don't,
we're
I don't know what you mean by below. Like dimensions don't
Meaning
have
of-
orders to them.
Well, I'm just talking about, fx equals x squared, right? I'm talking
Wow,
about
thanks.
the
Yeah,
range.
random function fx equals x
That's-
squared.
Well, no, because you got your
That's-
codomain and your range, and the range is smaller. And I'm saying if the smaller dimensions are in the range, then
That's not
then
what
the dom-
smaller dimensions mean.
No. Again, I'm trying to. All I'm doing is trying to suggest that perhaps you guys are holding a model that's already a little bit dated, and that maybe you guys will have a paradigm shift going forward.
Well, can you just
with-
like
in
address
terms
the
of-
basic fact that in order to describe a point on a manifold, that it's going to need like a specific location along every single dimension?
I mean, if every dimension is subsuming, it's within the greater dimension.
I don't know what subsuming
That-
means.
again, there's no such thing as a greater dimension. Dimensions don't have
meaning
orders
when-
to them.
No, I'm just
There are
saying.
just more
if-
dimensions. Like there's just like more
You're
points
just
along
talking about
which you
more
can vary.
perpendiculars, but you guys are meaning what I'm saying is okay. Well, the concept of a codomain. If I say an egg, like an egg inside of a shell, if we say the yolk is where we are, and then the mucus, the whites are around the yolk, and then the shell, right? The mucus around the yolk is a codomain.
Can you
or
give me the
is a
specific
domain of
name
the
of the
yolk, and
mathematical
then-
object in question?
Well, but just let me finish the analogy. Just
I
for 1 second to
understand
get
the
to a
fact that
point.
some things can be surrounded by other things. I don't think I needed the
Right.
analogy.
Well, no,
I
but
also don't think that's what a codomain is at
no.
all.
Well, look, and here then you guys can use ChatGPT because it's suggesting okay that right the physicist knows
No.
better, and you don't know who Pascal is, so that's fine also.
ChatGPT hallucinates
Well,
frequently.
to be
But
clear,
besides that,
Paderewski seems to be a pretty young physicist, which is not
she's
to,
excellent.
It's,
She's
it's not
excellent,
to like,
and there's
like
another
disregard her
one's
work, but I think
portrait,
she
so-
graduated with her PhD in like what, like
Recently.
2022? Like
Yeah, recently, very recently.
yeah, very
and has her own
recently. So I don't
company
think
up
it's
in Canada.
you know, wow, you're
It's
a
not
physicist.
established,
Name
but
every
I'm-
physicist. Name every single person who's ever gotten
No,
like
I
a
was just trying
PhD
to
in
think of
physics.
the other Fields Metal guy. His stuff is excellent too, the way he's
Mhm.
chopping through stuff. But my point about making the analogy of the shell is a secondary domain, and then the mucus is a secondary domain
Like a
around the yolk.
dimension or
Also, that's not what domains mean in mathematics. You need to have a
Again,
function that defines
sorry, this is just a
the
rough
inputs to
analogy
outputs.
because all I'm trying to do is suggest this, right? And so keep that in mind. Keep an onion in mind. Keep an orange in
yeah,
mind.
I'm
and an
familiar
apple
with the
in mind.
idea of one thing being around another thing.
Okay, very good. And so all I'm suggesting is that if we are living within the yolk, right, then we might have access to the cosmos, which might be the mucus. But the idea of what is the shell as origin or that which is beyond.
Wait, do you think there's like a literal wall around the universe?
No,
like an eggshell?
You could call it a firmament. I'm just talking about something that is.
Like, do you think that
is
if you travel
outside
in
of-
one direction for long enough, you'll hit something?
No, it's not. I'm not suggesting it like that. When I say a codomain, and I'm speaking about dimensions, I'm conceiving something like
Codomains only make sense if you're talking about functions, not dimensions.
Okay, and well, again, all I'm
So
trying to do.
I have
sorry,
fx
is
squared pulled up. F of x equals x squared. I got f of x equals x squared pulled on up. Maybe you can walk us through it.
All I'm suggesting is
That just maps the real numbers to the real number or the positive real numbers.
Yeah.
So
All I'm trying to do is find analog for the plural experiences that I have that justifies something like if you guys were looking at an ant, if we were the ant and there was something greater messing with the ant, right? Because we're obviously the ant isn't maybe perceiving what we are and we're toying with it, right? That is kind of an analog or a narrative people give about what a higher dimensional something would be like if it was messing with us.
you don't need to constantly use analogs.
Of
Both
course-
of us
of course.
have taken math courses.
Yeah, I have a math
Of
degree.
course.
It's you can just tell me the name of like the mathematical object, and then if I don't know it, I can Google it.
Well, and again, I'm just working with the idea of range.
So
I'm just
also
working
this
with the idea of
analogy
us,
is like
subjectives and,
catastrophically unhelpful because all of the analogies that you've given
Well-
exist all in the same dimensions.
But
Like
okay,
the egg
do you
shell
believe
is in the
in,
same
are
three
we in a,
dimensions as the egg yolk.
well,
It's not a
hang on.
helpful
So
analogy.
do you believe in a universe? Is everything
I do.
one?
I
Is
believe
that a
in the
presumption? So
universe.
you don't believe in a multiverse then?
Well, that doesn't follow. I could believe that this universe
doesn't
exists
follow.
and also that there are many worlds. So I believe in
no,
like
but
the
I'm
wave
talking about
function, and I
another
think the many worlds
universe.
interpretation is correct. But
So-
I don't know. I'm not
okay,
sure
so
that we have
that's one of your
access to whether or
predicates.
not.
I'm a dirty Copenhagenist.
So
Mm.
these are your predicates. Is if you believe that many worlds, but not multi-universes, right? It wouldn't make
I'm
sense to you to
agnostic
have
to
an
multi-universes, but I
right.
think we have good
Okay, well
reason to
that's very
believe
good.
in
But
the many worlds interpretation.
but if you had a secondary universe that was running, if you will, into this universe that had like a different, well, what would
Is it on the
what's
same
its
manifold?
no, it would have different physics. I'm trying to remember what's his nuts.
If you can measure the distance from our universe to it, then we're on the same manifold.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm
Because
talking
that's
more
what a
of
manifold is.
an
It's literally a
intersection.
set of like distances.
I'm talking. Oh no. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember his name, so I remember the concept of a different Reuliad set. You guys will pick it up. Reuliad, he's coined the term, I think. Right, but it would be like a different universe that has a slightly different rule of physics to it.
Stephen Wolfram?
And yeah, Wolfram. It would be a Wolfram Reuliad distinction between one universe
Nobody
and
in
the universe.
physics takes Wolfram's physics theories
Oh, is
seriously.
that consensus now? You guys believe that he has no application now. So again, I'm just noting now
Not
where
now,
you
it's
guys
just
are
that they're not even
standing.
like really well formed.
So, well, okay, but supposing that there's a universe that, for whatever reason, doesn't have, I don't know, plutonium in it, right? But it has other items within it, and that is set aside or is intersecting into whatever we're saying the rules are of this universe. You could imagine or conceive of a type of otherly universe, right? Because already you
I feel
guys
like
believe
we've lost the plot a bit.
Okay. Well, all I'm doing is trying to paint the idea of where a greater intelligence could intersect even a causal chain within our universe, like move another causal chain into almost invisibly so.
And would you
into
say that
our
the cause?
universe.
Wait. Does the cause of the first universe, is that simultaneous to the effect in the second universe?
No, but you could have what's called the Frobenius to take
A
away.
Frobenius. What's a Frobenius? What type of thing is this?
I'm trying to think about the model. It's a shape. It's a mathematical shape that I've been
Matrix?
trying to work with. No, it's not. I don't think it's a matrix per se. But it's well, see, all of this is just theoretical piecemeal, right? And I suppose my presence on your stage is really to kind of take something like a philosophically speaking, you would have something like a middle between states, kind of destabilize what you guys are believing as your base predicates of physics and reality.
Do you have any
there would be
evidence to suggest that any of this is true
Well,
and that our current physics theories are not?
It's more of an appeal against the held positions, against holding
Well, if you want to,
rationale in the manner that you
support
do.
that, you should use some evidence.
Well,
that's how science works
semiotics
generally.
and structuralism is kind of an approach towards.
Please don't do this.
Well, okay. All I'm trying to do is do this, guys. So I appreciate your time. Right? Is that all I'm saying is like, and the next analogy is like Harry Potter going between
Not
the
another
5
analogy.
and a half pole. Right. So I'm just
Please, no more analogies.
Okay, but all I'm trying to do, because you guys are so mapped onto the narratives of the text and the same rote atheistic appeals about morality and ethics, but we've already gone over aliens and multiverses and talking about different dimensions, and I'm trying to talk about destabilizing your very relationship to what you believe is
Wow.
static and mundane in the universe.
Wait,
And I
why do
even
you
brought
think
up
I'm-
Pastor Paderewski
why do you think
as
I'm a
an
physicist?
alternative. Well, then when you look into what
You
what
think I'm a
Sabrina
physicist
brings
because I
up.
don't want to discover anything? What?
No, but my belief is that the literalness about how you're going to track information and put it together itself, that very critique needs to be stepped back from radically in order to
Are
see
you just
whether or
saying that
not.
the scientific method doesn't work?
No,
This
no,
is
no.
like
It's
it's like
more
some
like an appeal to
post-structuralist gibberish.
utilitarianism. No, it's just it's that it's not meaning everything isn't about utility in time, and it's not about this world. And so if
I
you
don't know what you mean by
give
utility. We're just trying to find out facts about the world.
no, I know, but everyone like the idea of being on a timeline, caring about the next moment, caring about goals, things like that. Certain
Caring about goals?
right, certain theological moves require that you abandon, like one of the precepts in the Bible, you're giving your whole being over to God. You're dismissing all things worldly, including gravity, including rationality. It's not that comes
I'm
secondarily.
giving gravity to God? What?
No, you put it behind you. You don't you're giving your faith. You're leaping into a purity of faith. You're not holding on to the world at all. You're not holding on to
So gravity doesn't
relationships at
exist
all.
now? I'm curious.
No,
What are we
no.
getting at
It's
here?
not to be in one's mind, right? When like the other guests, it's almost like you guys are missing the subplot. You're disregarding the
Maybe another
subplot of
analogy
the
will help.
theist. Well, thanks. I mean, I got to admit, I at least appreciate the fact that you guys have given me this step by step. Let me see if I can hit another point real quick, and then I can get off.
No. I actually think I
We're
think I'm just
already
gonna get
done.
like super linear with you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, reject a premise. Premise one: either God was eternally creating the universe, or he was not eternally creating the universe. If God was eternally creating the universe, then the universe is just eternal. In which case, he didn't create it because he exists apparently on the same manifold as it. But
And I
the
approach that with two
alternative.
different
Oh,
gods.
wait, sorry.
Go ahead.
Just calm down there. No need to get upset. So the alternative there is that God begins to create the universe. And if God begins to create the universe, then he would change. But all the things that change are within time. So he couldn't do that either. So
That'd be
which of
lower
those
dimension.
premises would you reject?
The time one, and again,
Which one? Which one was that?
meaning when you're talking about change would be in time. That to me would
You don't
be
think that that's true?
No, not necessarily.
So would you agree that if nothing happens, then nothing changes?
Again, the reason when I started up here and I said
That's a yes or no question, just to be clear.
well, my answer is if one God is given for emanation and the next God is
What
given
question
to
did I
create.
ask you?
Excuse me, you mentioned creation.
What question did I ask you?
I believe you're making the contradiction between you can't both be in the God can't.
I
If
asked
God's
you a yes or no
eternal,
question just now. What was the yes or no
right?
question that I just asked you?
Basically, like if God is eternal, he can't be within the world. Yes
Okay,
or no,
Mike, you
or
should
within
try.
the
You
universe.
may like turn ChatGPT off. It might be like drawing
No,
your
I'm
attention
not.
away from me. So I'll just ask the question again. Would you
Go
agree
ahead.
that if
Go.
nothing happens, then nothing changes?
What do you mean by nothing?
You don't know what nothing
You mean
means? You need nothing explained to you? Just like
no? Okay, no, I'll agree with
the
that. Go ahead.
negation of
We'll
like
go
the
with the word.
existential quantifier?
Okay, nothing as we'll just say nothing equals
Like there
X
does
here,
not exist
and then
a?
if no, I'll agree with that. If nothing happens, nothing happens. I just don't know
No,
what
if nothing
that
happens,
means.
you misheard the question again. This is why you need to slow down. If
No,
nothing
I'm just not giving
happens,
you
then nothing
verbatims.
changes. My question is not if
Yeah.
nothing happens, does nothing happen? That's trivial. Of course, A implies A.
If one thing happens, it doesn't mean anything's changed.
If nothing happens, does anything change?
No.
Yes,
And
exactly.
if one thing happens, nothing changes.
Yes. So then you would agree that if something changes, then something happens.
Not necessarily. If it's only one
You
thing,
reject laws
then
of logic? You reject
no.
contraposition?
Well, I mean, you could talk about your paraconsistent logics.
We got
the
a
whole dis-
dialetheist over here.
Well, yeah, and but again, I'm only tracking this way because I was busted out of reality upon these experiences, and I wasn't even
I just want
alone.
to be clear. So you agree if nothing happens, then nothing changes, but you disagree that if something changes, then something happened?
No, I didn't. No, you're not listening. I just said if one thing happens, then nothing changes.
So you agreed with the first one that if nothing happens, then nothing changes.
Right. And
Do you
now I'm
agree with the
asking
second
you.
one that if something changes, then something happens?
No, no, I will agree with that. If something changes,
Okay.
then something's happened. I will
Okay.
grant that.
And would you agree that an event is something that happens?
I believe you have to have a contrast to claim what an event is, but if
Just a
you're
thing
going to
that
already grant
happens?
context to it, if you're going to grant context to call it an event, then I'll say that yeah, if an event happens, then something is changing. But again, if it's singular and there's no context, then I can't grant what you're referring to as an event.
Just something that happens is what I mean by an
I
event.
know it's almost duplicitous the way you're phrasing it, though. An event is
In a
something that
universe where
happens.
everything is frozen, nothing would happen.
Yeah, meaning if nothing changes, nothing's happening, right? But the reason I said
In a universe where everything's frozen, nothing's happening, and so events don't happen in that world.
well, in here we're in a conceptual bubble, right? Because in this particular conceptual bubble, we are standing outside of the concept of nothing happening, talking about a static thing that's not happening.
Wait, would you agree that if something happens, then events must exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you
I'll
agree
grant
that
that.
events exist. So then you would agree that if something changes, then events exist. Would you agree if events exist, then the sequence of events exists?
Not necessarily. I don't imagine that one would have to put a chronological manifold on. Meaning, I guess, and herein lies the idea that one would seek chronology in a space of ambiguity.
Yeah. Gosh,
So,
tasty word salad. Yeah. Do changes
wait,
have
you
a
don't know what
chronology from
ambiguous
before
means,
and
Ian?
after?
Sorry, Ian, you don't know what ambiguous
No, I
means?
know what all those words mean, but you're invoking them to cover up the fact that your actual like knowledge base is quite shallow.
No,
Which
no,
is
no.
why you need to
I'm actually
appeal to
getting very
things like
precise.
semiotics, which you're not able to actually make like a point from. Can you name two semioticians?
Oh, two. Why not just
Just name like
Saussure and
a
Anton?
person who which ones?
Saussure and Anton.
Saussure and Anton. Who are they? What did they do?
Well, Anton's a contemporary communication semiotics.
What's his name? Anton?
Corey Anton.
Corey Anton.
Professor Anton.
Corey
He's in
Anton.
Indiana University. He's a semiotician.
Professor
Saussure.
of Communication Studies.
Yes.
Okay. Presumably, semiotics is a field of philosophy.
Yeah.
But this guy isn't a philosopher.
No, but communication's kind of it's
Communications is
multidisciplinary.
absolutely not philosophy.
No, I didn't say that. Again, you're not paying attention to me now.
Okay,
I
I'm
said it's
asking you, could you like name somebody?
multidisciplinary.
Could you name
And I
somebody whose
mentioned-
title is semiotician?
No, I gave you two answers.
And neither of them,
Saussure
at
and
least this
Anton.
Anton person, this person's not a semiotician.
Well, nonetheless, that's the field that
The
I was
field
going
that you can't
into
name a single
again.
person from, it seems.
I said Saussure.
How do you spell?
I believe it is SAUSSERE from 1910-ish,
It's
12-ish.
How is it spelled?
SAUSSER.
SAUSS. Yeah, this guy's a semiotician.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no, I know this
I
guy.
answered two. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh, no, you only gave one.
no, I mentioned Anton.
Yeah, and Anton is not a semiotician.
It not by claim.
You're
Again,
you're
sorry.
larping. You're a larper.
You told me
You
that
adopt
you
like the
understood
LARP of
things-
philosophy, and the
Wait a
fact that
second.
I'm able to see this is just because
No, I'm talking.
you
no,
try
no,
to like
you're, no,
obscure
you're
your
ascribing
points
something
instead
to
of
me
like
that's
making your
incorrect.
whoa, calm down.
You're
Then you get
ascribing something
upset.
incorrect.
You should seriously calm down. The fact that it's like so easy to see just stems from the fact it's, we might say grounded in the fact that you try to cover up like your meaning and obfuscate it by
No, I
using like
don't.
words that are not required.
No. What I was saying is that the field of communications is multidisciplinary and it includes philosophy. And in his case, he studies semiotics.
Mm.
That's all I'm saying. And because you're not
But he's
pulling it
not a
up and finding it,
semiotician.
not per
Because
se.
he's a
Yes.
ChatGPT hallucination.
Again, I mean, I like the wrangle. I still appreciate that you've had me up. I think you'll eventually find
Mike,
me
can I be
exasperating and
honest with
accuse me
you?
of
Mike,
things.
I actually hate you. Like I think that
I
you're like a
I
despicable
appreciate
person
because I claim that I've
because you
had direct
philosopherlarp, because you
direct
try to put
communication
on
and
like things
interaction
like
with a higher
you try to use
dimension.
like philosophy terms in ways that you don't understand. You try
No,
to
you're saying that I
appear
don't
to
Offload
understand
is speaking
things
to
that you've spent
LLMs.
like zero time
I
actually
I
looking
don't
into.
spend
Like
time
your
on
understanding of
LLMs.
this comes straight from ChatGPT.
When I brought up the Hindi gods and I talked about emanation versus creation, you just fluttered around there because your mind couldn't get wrapped
Because
around
it
the
was
idea.
irrelevant. What was the relevance of it?
Because again,
How was it relevant to the
the relevance
discussion?
had to do with a previous speaker where you were
Yes.
busy trying to get them to the idea that God cannot both be the eternal and within that which is, both the cause and it being eternal at the same time. He would run into a contradictory set.
Mhm.
And so I
Correct.
initially came on by saying, look, in the Hindi,
But emanation is
Brahma,
not causation, it's
Brahm,
grounding.
but Brahma creates the universe. But you know what? Vishnu is Brahma's dad.
Emanation is not
Emanation.
causation, and you would know that
I
if you
I
didn't
didn't
have an
state that it
understanding of
was.
this. You
I
just
didn't
said
state
it.
that
You
it
just
was.
said that what that point was meant to address was the idea of eternal causation.
No,
That
the
my
emanation is
point was
more
that
like a
eternal causation was
proclamation
incoherent, and
of
then you brought up
eternality.
that actually eternal causation is coherent, and an example of it is emanation. But now you're conceding that emanation is not causation, so it sounds like you'd probably just agree with my point.
I do, but I don't. We're not obviously skinning the
Okay.
cat the same way.
Sure. So then you just agree with
Because
the point.
no, when I said that
So it wasn't
Azralut
relevant.
and Shakti are both emanation gods, in the Brahma then is the creation god underneath Shakti, and Vishnu is
What gets
Brahma's
emanated?
father.
What's the thing that
It-
gets emanated?
Emanation is the
I know what
the-
emanation is. What's the thing that gets
it's
emanated?
a light.
Yeah, oh, sure. So the light is the thing
It's
that
a
gets
special
emanated.
light. It's
Okay.
a special light.
And sure, when you say
from the
light, what do you
Zohar.
mean?
It's not what I mean. It's the term that's used in the text to refer
But
to
what
a
does that
specific
mean?
type of
What is
light.
the light? What is it?
It could be isomorphic with that which is eternal.
More
It could be.
gibberish?
You don't know what
Isomorphic with
isomorphic
that is
means.
eternal. Isomorphic is mapping one to one and
One to one,
onto
right?
relations
So
between two
so
functions.
emanation and eternality could be mapped one to one.
Okay,
Is what I'm
what are
saying.
the things that are getting mapped one to one?
Eternality and light, special light.
Okay, so I take eternality to be like a time thing. So you're saying
No,
that
how could it be time if it's an indefinite amount of unbounded?
eternity typically refers to the
primary-
relation between God and time. When we
Right,
speak
right,
of like
right, right,
eternity in
right.
the context of God, like whether he's
So-
outside
so
of it,
why would you
inside of it,
confuse-
identical to it, etc.
Why would you confuse eternality as its only makes sense is its contrast to time, right? It's not itself.
So wait, what's the thing that I
time.
said that I was wrong about?
I,
You
again,
said
I
that I
brought
confused
up
something. What's
emanation
the
being
thing that I
one to
confused? Whoa,
one.
no, so the next thing out of your mouth should be a quote from me stating what I said that was confused. Brutal.
What I believe that you said that was confused was that you were trying to say that eternality was a type of time, not in contrast to time.
It's a relation to time. It's God's
Thank
relation
you.
to time.
Then we agree. Then we're on the same page
Okay,
there.
so you think that light
Again,
maps
though,
onto a relation?
No, but what I'm saying is you're saying
So then you don't think
God,
that
you're-
light maps onto
again,
eternity?
So-
Are
so
we talking
what-
about like literal light?
No, again, it's referred to as a special light, and it has a title, but I'm not pulling the chapter up, and my glasses are off. But here's the point, right? Is when I say outside of Judaism and Islam and Christianity, where there is God, the Father and Creator of all things, in the Hindi Shakti relationship to Brahma, the Creator, Shakti is the emanation, and then Brahma is the creator, but Brahma has a dad, which is Vishnu, and then you have a different form of things that it's a tripart god of Shakti, Shiva, and Vishnu, and Brahma functions both as a persona and as like a station, kind of like the
Oh,
POTUS
then this is strictly
a station.
false.
No, you can just say this because
Well,
there's
no,
different.
because so here's
Per
here's
each
gonna be the
one, you're going to get a
problem.
different
So
answer.
if Vishnu causes the Brahma, and then
Mhm.
the Brahma is the grounding for Shakti, and then Shakti is like identical to Vishnu, then you're just going to have Shakti
No,
being ultimate, or that Vishnu is going to be grounded by himself. But the
So do you know
problem
why I
is
meant?
that grounding is an asymmetric relation. If A grounds B, then B does not ground A. So this would just
Remember
be
earlier
strictly false.
remember earlier when you mentioned, do I think that these are in sequence? And I said not necessarily, right? And so
They
in
don't
the
need to
Hindi
be.
tradition, no, I know, but even in the Hindi tradition, the grounding itself is going to be mixed. You're going to get something like a polymorphism. You're going to get something
Do you think
that
circular
is
grounding can exist?
in that religious tradition, and apparently in the Kabbalah, those are kind of the implied notions that
Okay,
there is a
sure. So then you
okay,
think that a thing
okay.
can determine its own existence, like in terms of like, a thing exists in virtue of its existing?
I mean, in some manner, I could answer yes. And God is a solipsist, yes. But in this case, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just
But you just
suggesting
said that
something
circular
different.
grounding can exist. That's what grounding means, but you don't know
It
what
does in
grounding
the
means
Hindi.
because you're a
No,
larper.
it's not that I
Because
don't know
you're
what grounding
LARPing.
means. No, you're going to use these
You
terms and you're going to
disagreed
ascribe them to me.
with that being a thing that it is? Like you said, no, it's not like grounding.
No, I believe both in grounding and in non-grounding. I believe in sequencing and non-necessary sequencing. And to me, these are paradoxical, or this is where you would have a type of a paraconsistency. And if you find them contradictory, then I would be a diletheist. Otherwise, it's just kind of a paraconsistency.
So
And so I
maybe we
don't
could
know.
put this on a notepad and formalize it. So I have okay.
Let's start
So
with
we have
enculturation.
Shakti is emanated by Brahma. So Brahma grounds Shakti.
No. I did not. No. Shakti is the emanation. Brahma is the creator.
Yes. Well, wait. I thought Shakti was emanated by Brahma.
No. Vishnu.
What's Shakti emanated by?
Okay, Shakti is the emanator of light. So that
Okay.
would be the equivalent to the eternal. Shakti is equivalent to the eternal, right?
So the eternal emanates light.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said it's an isomorphism. It's one-to-one. Eternality and the light are kind of like, you could put them together. And
That
so if
sounds
you want
like
to add that as a
gibberish.
sub,
What's the point of calling it light?
if Shakti is the emanator of light, and again, it's not
Is
it's
eternity
not
a
in
property?
Hinduism. Let me see if I can find the term for it in the
Is
Kabbalah,
whoa,
because you
sorry,
guys are
wait.
really busting my hump on that. Light.
Yeah. Is eternity a property? What is it?
It's adjacent to chronology. It's
Is it a
adjacent to
property?
time. It's
Like,
contrasting.
is eternity a thing that is born by property
No.
bearers?
Not,
So you wouldn't say
meaning
God is eternal? It's not a property? What a fucking
No,
crazy blunder, dude. You just said God isn't eternal. If you
No,
deny
I-
that it's a property, then you're saying God isn't eternal. That God
no.
lacks
Again,
eternity.
when you say
Fucking
God, Shakti is
infinity
feminine,
blunder,
by
dude.
the
That was
way.
like the eternal blunder.
Shakti is feminine,
So-
by the way.
Oh,
Brahma
okay,
is
yeah.
masculine.
Good
So,
to know. Good to
and
know.
whenever you use the word God singular, I keep thinking you're immediately resorting
yeah.
back to the Abrahamics.
So
this is
you
on
would
you,
say
not
that
on the
nothing in
religions.
like the Hindu religion is eternal because eternity is not a property.
Well, if you want to get your board up again, when I said so Shakti is emanation, right?
Wait, so I just want an answer to the question. Is eternity a property?
It's a nominal title. I don't know
Is it a
whether or not I'm going to call it
property?
a property.
Can you predicate it of things? Like having something?
Apparently, it would be the predication or the predicate to contrast chronology or time.
So it is a property.
No, you can assert that. That's not my word. I'm just saying it could be a contrasting thing that predicates, but I'm just saying it's contrasting. I'm not saying that.
So you refuse to answer the question?
No, I'm trying to describe what you guys are missing about
Either it's
the
a property
Hindi
or it
pantheon.
isn't.
Again, here you're going to then tell me
Listen,
all
bud,
the
I'll give
components
you
of a
I'm
property.
gonna give
Tell me all the
you
components of a property. Just tell
just
me
that you
everything.
can truly
Define.
predicate it of things.
So a property in its totality, you've covered all things by just saying a property is a predicate of all things. Is that what you said?
Just something that can be truly predicated.
That's what a property is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Again, and the reason I'm into structuralism and semiotics is because we're just kind of putting things together, right? Like the eternality is adjacent
Okay, I'm gonna
to
take that to be
what
like
we're
dodge
talking
number one.
about.
So I guess I'll ask the question
No,
again.
it's certainly
When we
not
get to
a
when we get to 3
dodge.
dodges, I'm just gonna kick you. Try number 2, is
Well,
eternity a property?
not necessarily.
Oh, okay,
It's
sure.
it's a contrast.
Sure. So then you would say like nothing in Hinduism is eternal.
The Shakti and the special lights and in the Kabbalah is Atzilut is the God that is the first emanation before the second, which is Bera, Beriah, is the creator God that comes secondarily after the emanation.
Sure. So which thing is
Sure,
eternal?
sure, you say. How
Which thing
pompous.
is eternal? Which one?
I hate you too. You can
Mhm.
blow a bunch of shit out your ass, but what are you
Oh
saying?
no, dude. He
No,
didn't
no,
even
I know
listen
what
to the
meant
question. He
you.
just wanted to spit
No,
some
go ahead.
like
No, go
Hindu
ahead.
names
Go
out,
ahead.
dude.
I
Holy
can't get an
shit.
insult.
Fucking Spawn killed again. Another
Go
question
ahead.
that he's too
Go ahead.
concussed to
Kick me.
listen to.
Kick me if you will. Kick
I
me
just
if you
want to
will.
know
But
what
go on.
things are
I'm here. I'm
eternal.
here. What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, which
I'm trying
things
to
are
walk you through
eternal?
this. The emanation is
The
eternal.
emanation is eternal. So Shakti is eternal or light is eternal?
Will you give me 1 minute to explain some secondary thing that will help
No, you
you?
can answer the question. Which thing is eternal?
Then both. They're one Shakti, eternality, and the light are all eternal backgrounds before Brahma comes in as the
Oh,
creator.
but eternity isn't a property. How can you predicate it of Shakti that Shakti is eternal if eternity isn't a property?
They don't refer to eternality. Shakti, you're the one you're referring to.
Is Shakti
the eternal
eternal?
frame from which all things are there.
Is Shakti
Shakti is the
eternal?
initial emanation.
Is Shakti eternal?
The best I can do is say it's the predecessor to creation. So
Is
if you want to say,
Shakti eternal?
are you asking me to tell you the truth or my opinion, my thoughts on the matter?
Just what you believe.
Right. So Shakti is that which I'll say is eternal.
Okay.
And the emanation.
So
It's
then eternity is a
precursor
property.
to creation.
So then eternity is a
Again,
property.
Meaning when you say that, then
That
you're
you can
going to
truly
force the
predicate it of
contradiction.
Shakti.
You're going to force the contradiction.
Yeah, it's only a contradiction because you fucked up.
No, it's only a contradiction
only a-
because you're busy
you just, like,
saying
blundered.
eternality is a property. All you do is keep saying, well, it's a property, it's a
I'm
property.
just
And I'm
trying to
like, no,
get
it's a
clear on
name,
that.
it's a nominal type, it's a claim. It's not a property. Eternality is, I mean, if you want to say all references of eternality are properties, that's on you, right? If I'm talking about eternality and I say, oh, it's that which contrasts sequence or chronology or something that is lesser, right? Then somehow I'm going to be shitbagged, and you're going to try to pigeonhole me right into saying, "Oh no, it's a property." Then, right? It must be, because you cannot conceive what it is I was trying to get at, and why I was asking for another minute to suggest that also in Hinduism, if you express loyalty or self-care, You are a divine emanation of one of the sub-gods. That is a divine attribute that an atheist, you can't escape an atheism of those divine properties. And so even the fact that our grammar and literalism has you come to the
What
conclusion that if I
gibberish,
say,
dude?
then Hinduism is gibberish, and
If
then you
if this is
preference
what
the
Hinduism
you
is, then
preference
yeah,
the
Hinduism
Abrahamic
is
so that you can
gibberish.
have
That's
an
true.
atheism against.
That's absolutely true. If this is Hinduism, then Hinduism is fucking cooked, dude.
Well, it's obviously not prevalent, but it doesn't mean that it and the Jewish Kabbalah aren't practiced and thought of and considered as religious texts. Even black
So
magic texts and
maybe just like
ritualistic
let's just
magic
go like
texts have
one at a time
similar
and get like
ideas.
clear. Whoa, sorry. Just give me like a clear yes or a no. Can you truly predicate of Shakti that she is eternal?
Shakti is the emanator.
But is she eternal?
She is what sprouts life. It's the eternality is the closest adjacent adjective we can give to her. And if you want to say eternality is a property and then align it to her, have at it. If it
But
moves,
Shakti is
the
identical to
conversation
eternity,
forward.
so
She's the emanator, and she's the precursor to Brahma's creation.
so then
Yet
Shakti is a predicate because Shakti is identical to eternity.
she is, but if you bring up
You think
contingency and
Shakti is a
necessity
predicate,
here,
dude? What a
then
fucking
you're
blunder.
no. If I said if you bring up contingency and necessity here, then you're missing the point. If you're going to establish, if I say she's the predicate
Nobody said
again,
anything about eternity or about necessary, like
not yet you
necessity and
haven't. Not yet
contingency.
you haven't.
Yeah. What are
I
you
mean,
doing? Who are you
you
talking
know.
to? Are you like hallucinating?
I just realized that you're younger and that you're attempting to form fit everything I say into these things to
Yeah,
make
I'm
your
gonna
argument.
put your silly thoughts into the Anglo box, and then we're going to evaluate whether or not they're coherent.
By consensus from the audience and from Quanta, is that how you're going to
No, on the basis
evaluate
of
this?
whether or not it leads to absurd conclusions.
But if God isn't real, if God is real, if God is a higher dimensional alien tech, if God is from another universe, if God is like a Brahma
That's stupid.
that
Those are
is
all stupid. That's a stupid set of
they're
things to
stupid,
believe.
Daddy, they're stupid.
That's
You're
stupid.
for
Saying
saying
God is
they're
alien
stupid.
technology is stupid. That's a
Why,
stupid thing to say. And you'd have to be a stupid person to believe that God is alien technology. That's a totally proprietary
ancient
definition.
aliens will
And it
brain
also
rot.
concedes that God just is physical. God couldn't possibly be the creator of the physical if God is physical.
Again, I separated those two out. This was a secondary argument I made about aliens. If alien tech was so big and vast and hidden and through us, it would be like us when we engage with that alien species or whatnot.
Damn, I
We
wish you were.
could
If alien
interpret that
technology
as a
were
god.
hidden, I wish you were a bit more like alien technology. Shut the fuck up.
I'll argue something. What a Boltzmann? What do you
This
call it? A
really is the
Boltzmann brain?
plot for Ancient Aliens.
Again, these like Hinduism is more like I'd say like a differently. It doesn't hold the same pantheons as like
I think that dude is like genuinely subhuman. Okay, I'm moving on to the next one. How's it going?
What's up?
Yeah,
Doing good. How about you?
doing well. Yeah, how old are you?
27. What
Yep.
about you?
I'm 25. Yeah, what religion are you?
I'm not really religious, but I'm just curious, like, what the point of this is. Like, why do you spend hours debating religion? Like, why?
Because I think that we should try to believe true things.
Okay, but like, why do you care if people believe in religion? Like, what does that do for you? Do
We should
you have
believe
any
true
hobbies?
things. This is my hobby.
So this is what you do for fun? You
Yeah.
stroke your ego?
Oh, I
Like,
don't
what
think
could
it's ego
someone say to
stroking.
what could someone say to you that would make you believe in God? Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
it's
wait,
something
you're
that
about to
can't be
say
proven
something
in the
that's
first
stupid.
place.
You're about to say, "Oh, yeah, you said something that's stupid." Okay, let me explain why that thing that you said is stupid, and maybe if you spent more time debating, you'd actually have been explained this earlier, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
have fun,
nevertheless,
dude. I have a
whoa,
life. I don't spend
whoa,
time
let's just
debating
calm
like a
down there,
fucking
mouth breather.
13-year-old.
Let's, like, dial it down, dipshit. Really no reason to be getting this upset this early on. So, in terms of why I do this, I think that we should believe the things that are true. I think that, your life goes better when you believe true things, and I think that the way that you could prove this or demonstrate this to someone, there's like a couple of ways. One, God himself could just come down in front of me right now and like reveal himself. And then if that happens, then of course, trivially, I'm going to believe in God because I just saw him. He must be real.
That
The
does happen to
alternative
people.
is
They're
that
called
you could give me,
schizophrenics.
the alternative is that you could give me evidence that favors the hypothesis that God exists over the hypothesis that God does not exist. You could raise the probability that God exists to be above 50%. And then at that point, I would just believe in God. You could do this by pointing out things that are expected if God exists, but unexpected if God doesn't exist. People might try to point out things like the fine tuning of various constants, the fine tuning of like the psychophysical harmony, things like that. And say all of these things are very expected if God exists, but very unexpected if he doesn't exist. Therefore, they're evidence in favor of God. And then finally, somebody could give me like a deductive syllogism. They could say premise 1, premise 2, premise 3, therefore God exists. And if I accepted all the premises and then the conclusion deductively followed, then I would just trivially
I
believe
mean,
in
I think
God.
people have done that.
They haven't.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the point of religious beliefs is they can't be proven. If they were, if they could be proven, they would just be facts. That's why they're religious beliefs. Like
There's an
people are
in-
going to believe what they
Mhm.
believe.
There's
Like not
thousands of
everything
years
has
of
to be
theologians
proven.
that disagree with you. Thousands of years of theologians have tried to
I don't give
demonstrate
a
God's
fuck, dude.
existence.
Like I don't care.
So then you're just wrong when you said that the point of religious beliefs is that, they can't be proven, because lots of people don't agree with that.
So you think everyone who believes in religion, like God came down and proved himself to them? Like, what are you trying to say
No.
about that?
No, I'm saying
Are
that
they?
there are lots of religious people that believe that they can establish the existence of God.
I mean, I haven't seen that. Like,
You don't know about like Thomas Aquinas?
no,
Descartes?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Do you know like the name of a single philosopher? Just one?
Plato.
Yeah. Plato thought that you could establish the existence of a demiurge, like a godlike being.
Dude, my point is that this is a waste of time. That like it doesn't matter. Like this shit's retarded.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Maybe I've like slammed you so hard that you have a concussion. You forgot what happened over the last 2 hours, but you waited in queue for like 2 hours.
Well, I've been working.
If you're saying that this is like a waste of time, then it sounds like you waiting in line for this is like a huge waste of time. And in fact, like, I don't know, now you're on here to spend more time wasting time, apparently.
Well, I'm curious to hear your answer because I mean, I've seen these lives for years, and I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand why you would spend your time doing this.
Okay. I think people should believe true things. You
Okay,
think that's
and
funny? What's like
yeah, 'cause
funny
why
about
do you care?
me
Why do
thinking
you
that
care
people
what
should
other
believe true
people think?
things?
It literally doesn't
Because they
affect
live in
you.
the same society as me. They legislate their religion on me. People in public schools are forced to learn about Christianity in some states.
I mean, I don't think religion should be, pushed onto people, but at the same time, you're kind of doing the same thing with pushing your beliefs onto people.
The difference is my beliefs are true and theirs are false.
So don't you think everyone thinks that?
No, I don't care what everyone thinks. I care what's true.
You don't think that everyone thinks that their own beliefs are true?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking whether or not everyone believes what I believe. Yeah, I think everyone thinks that their beliefs are true, but the question is whether or not they have evidence that can support that conclusion. I've read through a lot of the evidence that Christians and theists will give in support of, for example, the existence of their God, and I don't find any of them convincing. In fact, I think they're all bad. And then I read through the evidence and proofs that are given in favor of atheism, and I think a lot of them are really good.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that.
Beaten into silence.
No, you just said a whole lot. Dude, you're missing the point completely. You're obsessed with what other people think. You're saying, "Oh, I want people to believe whatever's true," but like that, it really doesn't matter.
It does. They vote. They legislate their religion on me.
I mean, do you think you're really convincing anyone?
Yeah. People tell me all the time that I've changed their mind. There's just someone like the other week who sent like a super chat saying that I've changed their mind and made them like no longer right wing.
I mean, I don't think religion and right wing are necessarily, the same thing. But at the same time, I mean, I'm not necessarily religious, but if people want to be religious, like that's usually a good thing. Like if someone thinks, especially with religions tied around helping people, like religious people take time out of their day to help people for no financial incentive because they think they're going to get rewarded in heaven. Wouldn't you want more people like that?
No, because it's delusional. I don't think that you should be living your life in a way that is delusional. I think you should be living your life
Servitude
truly.
is delusional.
Which one?
Servitude, like helping people, just
Based
doing
on
it out of the
religion, if the
kindness of
reason
your
why
heart.
you're not doing it out of the kindness of your heart, you're doing it to get eternal rewards, which don't actually exist. It's delusional.
I mean, I think that's part of it, but I think the basis is you're doing it because you want to live in a society where people would do that. But if
Oh.
everyone's just,
We can do
an
that under
atheist
atheism.
and what?
We can do that as an atheist.
I mean, you can, but there's less incentive. If there's no God and no morality, and
There is
there's more.
morality. It's the opposite. There's morality under atheism. There's no morality under religion. It's not
There's no
possible to
morality
get your
under religion.
morality from somebody just saying so. Somebody just saying so doesn't give anybody a reason to do anything. But morals, whatever the true moral facts are, those would need to be reason giving. We say that you ought do the right thing.
I mean, I think the point of morals is you want to treat other people how you want to be treated, but if you don't think the other person is important, because if I help someone, it really isn't helping me. Like their experience is not my experience, and it never will be. Other people's experience will never be your experience.
No, I'm
But you
aware of
still-
that. Wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Dude, the dude who
You
comes
only
onto
have
his
your
streams and
internal
like says
experience,
slurs,
so-
yeah, how can I learn more about morality from you?
dude, I don't give a fuck. Like
You seem like
I
a
told you I'm not
paragon of
religious,
morality.
so I don't care.
Does
Like,
that mean that you're not moral?
no, I am moral. I just don't care
So
about
then
you.
clearly you can get morals on the atheist view.
I mean, I think there's common sense morals, but at the same time, I think a lot of religious people take it the next step, and there's a sacrificial aspect to a lot of religions where they're doing it. They're doing it more so for like a greater cause beyond themselves. But if you're just an atheist and you don't really think there's a bigger meaning, then you can help a little, but you're not going to take that extra step. And that's why I disagree with your premise that religion's bad.
Well, okay, what would you make of the fact that the majority of religious people in this country don't believe that climate change exists?
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily an issue with religion. That's more so
But
ignorance
95% of atheists believe that climate change exists.
I mean, I don't really know about that, but
Yeah, I can
It's
break
di-
that down more. I mean, why would a religious person give a fuck about the world? They think the end of times is near. They think the world's coming to an end soon. Why would they care? That's pretty
well,
harmful. As an atheist,
I
everything that
think
you
that's-
value, a lot of the values, a lot of the projects that you produce They have value insofar as you produce something that gets passed down to like future generations, at least for some long extended time period. Basically, everything that you value is going to require the continued existence of humanity in some way. And that's going to require for, the planet to not get completely destroyed by climate change. So as an atheist, you have all the reasons in the world to combat things like climate change.
I mean, I could argue as an atheist, if you don't believe, even in reincarnation or an afterlife, if you think this is your one existence, why would you care? It's
I
kind of the same
care
thing with religious
because a lot of
people.
the things that I do in my life, a lot of the projects, your life's work, it's going to be valuable insofar as it's going to get passed down to future generations. You're going to have an impact on people. You're staking out a legacy that's going to continue to have effects in ways that you can't even imagine on people that you'll never meet.
But why would you care about that?
I
It's
care
not your
about that because I
experience.
want that. I want the world to be a better place. I want people to believe true things. So, I hope my arguments get passed down and they get, made and spread. And I hope they help people come to a better understanding of reality.
I mean, I don't really know what your arguments or beliefs are. I've just what I've seen is you just, you let in religious people and then you just let them talk and then you just, you play dumb and then you just, make fun of them, and it's easy to do that, but I don't really
It's
know what you
fun too.
believe. I mean, all right, if this is fun for you, I mean, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah. Is like whining fun for you?
I mean, I think I have more fun than you if this is.
I feel like I'm like laying on the bed in the fucking ambulance, dude.
What does that mean?
You want me to explain the insult, really? The wambulance?
You're laying on the bed. Are you the one complaining?
Typically
then?
ambulances have like beds in the back of them. That's how they transport patients. And the wambulance is like a reference to the fact that you're like crying. I can elaborate on either of those connections if need be.
I mean, all right.
Okay.
I don't understand what your point is.
I'm making fun of you.
Okay, and I'm making fun of you. So I guess we're both having fun.
I must be mad stupid. What was the insult that you called me? In what way are you making fun of me?
What do you mean?
You said you were making fun of me.
Yeah, that's what I came on
What did
here
you do
to
to make fun of? In what way did you make fun of me? I don't even think you did that, frankly. I just think that you got on here and like cried for a while.
All right, bro.
Stunlocked, brutal.
No, it's not brutal.
I'm convinced. Okay, guys, it's not brutal. All right. Thanks for coming on up here. All right. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You can also be a deist. That's fine too. And then, I ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. God Sinner, thanks so much for the super chat. Just wanted to confirm that it was a plug joke. Also, God is in the hotel chair and your bedroom. Dude is freakier than any human. Yeah, God is like omnipresent in like every cuck chair simultaneously. God is in like the fucking cuck sauna outside of like the bedroom on like this one TikTok that I saw. Molly, thanks so much for the super chat. God, I'm so fucking dumb, dude. Thanks so much for the new Twitch subscriptions, Doodle Stargazer, and for the resubscriptions from Mouthy Old Hag, Molly, and a gifted sub to The Fish, who's a star. And G Nugget, thanks so much for the subscription for the 13th month. That's pretty crazy. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. This guy's voice and cadence are nails on a chalkboard. This donation is for your patience and for your fortitude, but I am tapping way out. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Dude's like Philoso LARPing. Shock T was a Togruta, not a god, +1 if you get it. Yeah, it's a Star Wars reference. You know, she has like the fucking like things. You know, I was really into Star Wars when I was younger. I think it's great. I've seen all the Clone Wars. You know, she had like the I don't know how you describe it, but it was like it's almost like the red, like clay colored skin. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Shock T knower. Just 13 Rain, thanks so much for the super chat. Shock T, clearly she's not equivalent to Eternity. Stormtroopers already got her in Order 66. Oh, also, yeah, she's like the same species as Ahsoka. That's how I can demonstrate my Star Wars lore knowledge. That's true. Shock T most certainly had an end. Cal Grimes, thanks so much for the super chat. We should believe things that are true so we don't destroy billions of lives over a lie. True. Achilles, Napoleon, Abraham Lincoln are believable because they've recorded history, but somehow the greatest recorded event is real. Please explain. What? I think that we should basically believe things. I think that our bar for like non-supernatural historical claims is like reasonably low. Like if somebody just makes the claim like this person existed, I think that's probably like fine evidence to come to the conclusion that that person existed. I think where you start getting into sticky territory is when like the supernatural claims get thrown into the mix. I think that's when things start getting messy. I don't think that we should be believing supernatural historical claims just based on the fact that somebody says so. Stripped ball. I'm sorry, it's striped ball. Thanks so much for the super chat. Doing this is important because people who hold these irrational worldviews also govern our society. We need to push back. Keep up the good work, Ian. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Kyrios, thanks so much for the super chat. Totally fine and not brutal. Funny, actually. True. All right. Let's go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, how's it going?
Hey, how old are you?
34.
Yep. And what religion are you?
Well, I would say I'm a Catholic with an asterisk.
I hear the Catholic Church doesn't much like asterisks.
Well, we do have something called primacy of conscience. But I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So would you consider yourself more of a utilitarian, a virtue ethicist, a deontologist? Where do you get the most out of your ethical grounding? What makes the most sense for you personally?
I think probably a lot of the ways that we account for our obligations to others comes from like deontic considerations or like deontic framing. But I think like a lot of the obligations that we have towards ourselves, I think a lot of that stuff is like virtue, ethics, and nature. And then I think that basically that establishes like between those two things, that establishes sort of like what you're required to value and how you're supposed to prioritize things of value. And then if there's like really difficult situations or if there's maybe like ties that come up somewhere like deadlocks, then I think utilitarian considerations could be important for resolving things like that.
Okay, so a little bit of everything.
Mostly, I'd say I'm mostly like virtue ethicist, but I appeal to a lot of like deontic arguments.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I guess, yeah, for me, it's really about like grounding morality because we want to actually believe that the claims, the outrage that we have against irrational people and people that cause damage and harm in our society, that's not just grounded in emotivism because it makes us feel bad, right? We'd want to have some grounding to say, no, this is ontologically incorrect. And I think that's where the source of why many people come to find solace in a certain idea of the divine because it helps them better understand why they feel the way they feel and why they value what they value. So I don't think it's something as easy as, well, hey, let's prove God. I think that's very modernistic, very dualistic, isn't, especially if God exists outside of space and time. By definition, he doesn't exist. One could say that he insists, or it insists. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm coming from.
You probably don't want to say that God doesn't exist. You can say that he exists and that he exists outside of time. I think that that's fine. If you say that
Well, no,
God
but
doesn't,
exist means that you occupy space and time. Like our
no, I don't
understanding
think
of
so.
exist. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you say something exists,
Necessarily.
name anything that you can say exists. It has to be within space and time.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Well, do numbers physically exist?
I'm not claiming that they physically exist. I'm claiming that they exist.
Well, in the same way that you could say concepts exist or ideas exist. So in that way, you could say God as an idea exists.
I wouldn't say that they exist just as like conceptual things. I'd say that they exist in like a platonic, like they have like ontological existence that transcends like the physical reality.
So there is a transcendent reality
Yes.
beyond our senses.
Yes, I do think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's
and
just
then,
not like conscious or a mind or personal.
So what would be the reservation then of taking that one step further, of saying that there are things outside of space and time that do exist, that are real and have real implications, especially if we're trying to make sense of our own moral grounding?
No, I do think that. It's just that I don't see a reason to think that God is one of those things.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. So I guess for you, it'd be more based on reason as a deontologist primarily.
No. This is like things like why I believe in numbers is
No,
more
no,
like
no, no,
metaphysics.
no. I'm saying your ethical grounding, why you believe in those things. I'm saying that's really morality and ethics for you is just grounded in reason primarily. And
Yes,
there's no
yeah, I would
need
say
for
that.
God.
Yeah. I do.
Right.
That's basically exactly what I believe, is that I think that you can deduce certain ethical truths based on like necessary commitments.
Absolutely. But you will also concede that you can't find an ought in nature. The is ought distinction is really important, and that there's nothing we could point to rationally or otherwise to confirm that ought as objectively true.
No, you can. Yeah, let me give
Based
you an
on what?
example.
Well, give me an example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
please.
we could give like a transcendental argument. I'm an agent, and I can't deny that I'm an agent, because if I were to deny that I'm an agent, then I would need to use my agency to deny that I'm an agent, which of course is like self-defeating. It like demonstrates the very thing that I'm denying. But by being an agent, there are things that I've deemed that I have like reasons to do. I take actions in order to achieve goals. This is also necessary
But
if I were
ought
to
you
deny.
achieve those goals?
In order for me to deny that I have any goals, in order for that to be a rational thing for me to do, I would already need to be acting towards some goal in order to act intentionally. So goals are inescapable. And as long as you're an agent who takes actions to achieve goals, then you're committed to saying that you have a reason to have your freedom and well-being necessary to achieve those goals, which is to say that you ought have your freedom and well-being. But if you ought have it, others ought not interfere with that. And if others ought not interfere with that, then you're saying that you have a right to freedom and well-being, just on the basis that you're an agent. But
Right.
if your agency is
And
sufficient for you
egoists
to
are
have that
pure
right, if your agency is sufficient for you to have that right, then all agents must have that right, which is how we defeat the egoist.
Well, no, I think what the egoist would say, and I'm definitely not one, would say that, yeah, you need to appear so. It's ultimately like the Thrasymachus argument with Socrates. If you appear to be the great person and that everyone loves and respects you and you are rewarded for it in society, but actually you don't do those things, and you get to play both sides. You get to actually be seen and perceived as a good person doing good things that are helping people, but you're ultimately doing bad things that people aren't aware of, and that's ultimately in your interest to do so. So if someone has goals as an egoist, there's no more justification for, I would say, the goals you're speaking of than the egoist's goals, because there's still an ungrounded ought that we still haven't uncovered. Like, what's really determining it? It's like, for example, the
Oh,
gym.
the ought is grounded
If
in the
I
fact that agency exists.
Right. Well, I guess here's what I'm getting to. So give the gym as an example. I want to go to the gym. Why? Well, because I want to work out. Why?
Yeah.
Because I want to get stronger.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Ultimately, all these things, these goals are true. You're not wrong about that.
Mhm.
But when we're saying, but ought that be the goal? When you ask the question, should these be my goals as opposed to other goals? There's really nothing in the natural experience or otherwise to really determine that.
Mm.
And so there's a gap there, and that doesn't mean
No,
that
I
all of
deny
a
that
sudden
there's
God
a
is
gap
true.
there. So, what I hold to is that in virtue of being an agent, there are things that you've already deemed as having a reason to pursue. Otherwise, it wouldn't be rational to take any action, including the denial, including like even like uttering the words, I'm not an agent, or uttering the words, I don't have a reason to pursue any goals. So, in virtue of even trying to do that, you self-defeat, which means that you must have some reasons to do some things. And if you have a reason to do anything, then that commits you to the rest of the argument, which means that you're committed to saying that everyone has a right to freedom and well-being.
Well, it's just to get around the relativist problem of one person's good as another person's not good.
Mhm.
So again, it's like, who really has the distinction in saying, well, no, outside of what my personal goals are, what my personal ethos is, what my personal emotivist, claims are, this is actually
Emotivist
good.
claims. The emotivist doesn't make claims, right?
Well, the
It's
emotivist claim,
non-propositional.
the emotivist is Hume was an emotivist.
That's like extremely false.
That's not false at all.
Emotivism is like non-cognitivism.
I'm saying in grounding of ethics, Hume ultimately appeals to emotion.
That's not what emotivism is. I don't know. So
Yes,
emotivism
is that you're justifying why something is wrong or right based on how you feel and how it makes you feel.
that's categorically false. So emotivism is specifically the view that it's like a semantic thesis as to like what people mean when they say that something's right or wrong. It's basically saying that when you say that something is wrong, that what you're actually expressing there is like a disapproving emote or like an approving emote. So when you say murder is bad, what you're saying is boo murder. But boo murder isn't it's not a claim. It's not like a proposition. If you're off the app, I can't hear you, but I do take your time. It's totally fine to go and Google emotivism.
No. I'm saying that I'm responding to exactly what you just said. That's exactly what it is. Boo, I don't like this. It's coming from a sense of your feelings, your emotives, your emotions.
But it's not making a claim is the point.
Right. It's not making a universal claim.
No, it's
right?
not making
So
a claim at all. It's not even making a subjective claim.
by you saying boo, you are protesting something.
You're emoting your disapproval of it.
Yeah,
That's
which
not
you
like
are
a
making.
that's not like a true or false claim.
Right. You're not claiming to have absolute truth over whether something's right or wrong. You are relativistically
Not even
saying, hey,
subjective. There isn't even like a
right.
subjective truth there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there.
That's
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
fine. I'm like very particular about like philosophy words. If you use a word wrong, like I don't know, I will run down a rabbit hole. But no, I forget what specifically Hume was. There's a specific title for it. It's on the Constructivism SEP. What is it? It's
For Hume, only emotions and can drive us to act on our will. It's not reason alone for Hume. Hume is an anti-rationalist.
yeah, no, I'm aware of that. That he thinks that
Right, and that's what
it's
we're talking about.
yeah, but that's not emotivism. I think it's expressivism. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know if there's a clear distinction you're creating between the two.
Expressivism is that like that you're like rationally motivated, like the things that you'd be rationally motivated to do.
Right, but again, we're still trying to get down to the is-ought distinction,
Yes.
and in that way back to human. So an is cannot be rendered an ought.
Why? Why not?
Ration
Why would we need to
because
even?
well, see, those are two different questions you're asking. An
Mhm.
is cannot be rendered an ought.
Yeah.
Something that is, it's description versus prescriptive.
Yeah. Why can't you go
So
from one to the other?
descriptive, well, one doesn't begat the other. One
Why
doesn't
not? That's the
automatically
claim again?
assume
Yeah, why
or
not?
presume the, because they mean two different things. These
Okay, but why
words
can't
have
you go from
meanings.
one to the other?
So I can give you a full description of the
He's about to
history of
shift
the
the burden.
world.
I'm foreseeing it.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I'm
Just
just
go ahead and
telling you
give the
that I can
argument.
give the full history. Like imagine that I just had an amazing source of knowledge and I could give you the exact history of the world. I can give you descriptive knowledge,
Mhm.
but giving you prescriptive knowledge, therefore, here's how things ought to be.
Mhm.
It doesn't follow
Why not?
logically.
That's the claim again.
Okay, so I would ask
So
how?
yeah, it's the burden
How?
shift. Exactly. Yeah. So there's the burden
Well, you're
shift.
doing the burden shift right now because you don't have an
Okay,
answer.
okay. Well, you said you weren't going to shift the burden, and then you did shift the burden. So I can just
No, you
restate the argument
preemptively
again.
brought up shifting the burden
And then
right
you
before
said,
you
I'm not
shifted
shifting
the
the burden. And
which is
then
very clever.
you
I'll give
got
that
run
to you.
down, and then you had to shift the burden. So
Okay, well, please explain to me how could one render an ought from an is?
yeah.
Please,
So
you
yeah.
got the floor.
Yep. I'm an agent, so I take actions to achieve goals. But in order to take any action to achieve any goal, I need my freedom and well-being, which means I need for you to not interfere with it, which means that I'm saying that I have a right to it. But if me being an agent is
These are
sufficient
ises.
for me to have that right, then all agents must have that right as well.
Not must.
Yeah, I
Or
must.
in the order of fairness, you mean?
No, no, in the order
Or
of logical consistency. If me being an agent is sufficient for me having the property internally of a right to freedom and well-being, then agency simplicator must be sufficient for the right to freedom and well-being simplicator.
so Kant's categorical imperative is what you're going with.
Not really, but kind of. Like, it is a categorical imperative, but it's not like a Kantian argument.
I mean, you've spent the last 5 minutes talking about a transcendentalism and
Mhm. Yeah.
reason. I mean, it's all smacking of Kant.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, so there are definitely like Kantian roots to it, but this isn't like an argument from Kant.
But I mean, that is the categorical imperative from Kant, like almost verbatim. If I have a right to do these things and say these things and be these things, well, categorically, this has to be extended to other people. Otherwise, it's irrational, it's illogical, it doesn't follow from reason. So I mean,
Sure, like in that sense, yeah, but typically the categorical imperative, like Kant's, well, he kind of equivocates on what the categorical imperative means, but the most common categorical imperative that gets rendered is that you should treat everybody as an end in of themselves and not as a mere means. And it's not that. That's not the view that I'm expressing. But a categorical imperative, unless in case that's what you're looking up, is just like an ought claim that's made without respect to like any goal. And if you're off the app, I can't hear you. You got to be on the app. Hello? Oop, he's gone. That's sad. Whoa. Wait, sorry. I'm so sorry. Is that the goat? Hey, how's it going?
What's up, baby girl?
Hey, buddy AG, are you there?
It's the goat. Call me the goat. You're right.
Yeah. I love
You
this
got
guy.
it dead on the head, bro.
Yeah.
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I'm second.
Mhm.
I'm second.
You're second? So you're not
Yep.
the goat?
No, man, but I follow the goat.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. What makes you think that Jesus Christ is the Almighty?
I read the Bible.
I've read the Bible too, and I didn't come away with that impression.
I'm sorry. It's too bad.
It is too bad. No need. Maybe I missed something.
Read it again.
Okay. How many times do I need to read it before it starts making sense?
That's up to you.
Really?
It ain't up to me.
Okay. Maybe God could have been a better writer. Maybe he could have gave it better evidence.
Right. It's his fault.
It is, yeah. I'm glad we agree on that, you know. And that kind of forms the basis for an argument, you know. If God's
That
a
was a
perfect
question.
communicator, then we would expect for his work to be perfect, but clearly it's not.
What part was confusing for you?
The fact that it says that you can own slaves, that's pretty confusing.
You feel like that's confusing?
Yeah. I get very confused by the fact that this God who's claimed to be all good is telling people that they can own slaves. That kind of baffles me, even.
Well, did you know you were a slave?
I don't think that's true. I don't think I was a slave.
Yeah, you're a slave right now.
That's just false. I think that's equivocating a little bit. I'm speaking of God saying that you can own slaves in like a literal sense. I think you might be speaking in a metaphorical sense, but frankly, I think like that's just not true, right? We're not slaves right now.
Have you conquered sin?
Have I conquered sin? Depending on what you mean by sin, I might not even think that sin exists. So yeah, I conquered sin. It's a fictional character.
So you don't do anything wrong?
Oh, sure. So if that's what you
In
mean
your
by sin,
fictional world?
then no, I do wrong things from time to time.
You do.
I do wrong things.
Yeah, you
from
need to
time
work on your
time.
grammar. So
You think that that's incorrect grammar?
that's irrelevant. So since you fall short, then you sin. You haven't conquered it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you go back
All
to
you mean by
slavery.
that is
So
that
now,
I do things that are
now
wrong
that
from
we
time to
understand
time. I
that
agree
you're
with
a
that.
slave to, now
I don't
that
think
we
that makes me a slave, though. In
now
fact,
that
it
we
also,
understand you're
even
a
if that
slave to
was
sin.
true, that seems like it's using it in like a metaphorical sense. You know, the way in which you're saying that I'm a slave is not the way in which the nations around Israel were able to be Israel's slaves. You know, these are very different senses of slavery. It was a very literal slavery that God says that you can do, whereas you're speaking of like metaphorical slavery.
So your argument's based on the Bible?
Yes, yeah, for why I don't believe the Bible. Yeah, it's internally inconsistent.
So your argument that Israel was slaves in a book you don't believe is your argument?
Yeah, for why I don't believe the book. Yeah, it's internally inconsistent. It's not just that they were slaves, it's that they had slaves, to be clear.
So you're using something you don't believe as your argument?
Yes, against the thing. Yeah, correct. It's called an internal critique. We presuppose the truth of it to demonstrate a contradiction internal to it, which would demonstrate the falsity of it. So, for example, you know, if in the Quran it says, you know, I, Allah, will never
Do you
give
believe the
you
Quran?
revelation on a Sunday
Do you
for as
believe?
long as
Do you
I
believe?
live, and then 2 pages later he gives revelation on a Sunday. Well, at that point, the religion is cooked. You know, it's a contradiction. Contradictions are false.
Do you believe the Quran?
No.
But you're using it for your argument against the Bible?
Yeah, as an example of why I wouldn't believe the Quran.
But we're talking about the Bible.
Yeah.
So you're using it
Oh
as an
fuck, dude. I'm sorry.
example of
Maybe
why.
I wish I had like some Lego. I wish I had like some Lego guys. Maybe I could break this down for you, like at your level.
It's real
No,
simple.
Lego even is for 5 and up. So
So you're using the Quran that you don't believe against your argument against the Bible that you don't believe.
Okay,
But
wait.
you're
Let me.
telling me that
I
you don't
think I could probably
believe the
actually make this
Bible. I'm
work.
speaking. Can I please finish? So you're telling me about a book that you don't believe.
fuck did I
There's an
put it?
argument against a book
Where are my
that you don't
goddamn
believe.
Lego guys?
show?
But
I want a puppet
your-
show.
Your book that you don't believe was internal, whatever nonsense you just spoke. But then you went to another book that is not internal to argue against the book that you was using the internal argument against. Yeah, and you don't believe in either one of them. Got it. Makes sense. I understand now.
Are you good? I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable showing you my Lego guys.
Okay, so
When you're making noises
what I
like
was
that.
what I was saying is that you're using a book you don't believe in to argue against a
Lego
book
guy.
that you don't believe in, but yet your argument originally was that you were using a book you don't believe in as an internal resource, but then you went external and supplied another resource to argue with two things you don't even believe in.
Okay, wait. Maybe if Quantanaut has like a little Lego guy, maybe I'll get.
So maybe if you could just prove to me that God isn't real, then I would be convinced that he's not. But other than that, you're asking me.
Actually, God is real, and he's a giant robot that we all live inside.
No. No.
Can you prove that? Can you prove
No,
that?
I mean, yeah, it says so in Makuta's Guide to the Universe.
I dropped
it. It says that the entire universe is a giant robot.
Well, mine says
the book
that,
says so.
Mine says God is real because I wrote a book saying the other. So what's your argument?
Cool.
against
So how do
that?
we tell which one's real?
I open my eyes and have common sense and realize. So let me ask you this: is there any religion that you believe that is real and there is a God?
Wait, which religion is your religion?
I'm asking you, or is there? Just answer the question.
Well, surely
Is
it's
there
not going to be
any
your religion. Like, there's no way that the true
Is there
God.
any religion?
Oh,
Is there
that's
any
it.
religion? Is there? If you want to concede, whatever.
I
that
dropped
there's not
him.
one, that's
He
fine.
fucking shattered into like a trillion. He shattered
Come
into like a
on,
septillion
Come on.
pieces.
Tell me, why does it not surprise me that you play with Legos?
I got a little collection right next to me.
Give me.
Okay. So let's
give me
say.
one religion.
Let's
So you don't
say.
believe in any religion.
Let's say.
You don't believe in any religion.
Let's
There's
say
not
Greg
one
the
religion
Dragon.
that
We
you
have
believe
Greg
in
the
God.
Dragon, and
Is
he
there one
believes
religion that you believe
that
they're
you
God?
you shouldn't cut people off in traffic. But then I see Greg the Dragon cutting people off in traffic, and I'm like, I point out to him, I'm driving with him, and I'm like, Greg, you really shouldn't cut people off in traffic. That's not good. That would be an example of an internal critique. And I could say that to Greg, even if I personally don't have a problem with cutting people off in traffic, because Greg is being a hypocrite. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't
None
make sense.
whatsoever.
It doesn't make any sense
sir.
that you
No,
can point
sir.
out that somebody's being a hypocrite.
Okay, but
This
you
is-
used
that
the
I lost
Bible-
you.
You use the Bible against itself. And
Yeah.
you called it an internal
Yeah,
critique.
it's hypocritical.
But now
It
you went
contradicts itself.
external.
Yeah, correct.
You went external to continue your criticism.
Yeah.
So is there any religion that you believe there is a God?
Gosh, holy shit, dude. I think that you're independent evidence against the existence of a God. I don't think a God would allow a person as stupid as you
Is
to
there
exist.
any religion for the 7th time that you believe there is a God?
No.
You're a lost soul.
Do you have any evidence for God?
Common sense, open my eyes, the air I breathe.
Okay.
Can you see the air you
Okay,
breathe?
so I have common
No.
sense. I've opened my
Can
eyes.
you see the atoms that you're
No, I can't see the atoms.
molecules?
Nope.
So you believe in them though, don't you?
Yeah, insofar as you
All
can
right.
demonstrate the existence of them
Understand that it is
scientifically.
possible. So you understand
You
it is
can also
possible.
like photograph them to
So
be
you-
clear.
So you
With
can
the right
photograph air? You can photograph air where
Correct.
people can see
Yeah,
it?
IBM
Wow,
literally
show me.
photographed individual
Show me.
atoms.
Show me photographed air.
Well, it's not air specifically; it's a metal lattice, but it's
So
atoms.
you can't photograph air, but you believe you're breathing it, right?
Well, you can actually photograph air if you just cool it down enough to make it a liquid.
Or like
But
you can
then it's
see
a
air
liquid,
when
then
you
it's
like
no
exhale
longer
it,
air.
and when it's
Then
cold
it's no longer
outside.
air.
Well, that's to be fair. That's more vapor, the water vapor. But you can definitely see air, like for instance, during like a mirage, like the refraction of the air, like over a hot pavement.
I thought that was heat.
That's the heat messing with the air.
But can you see the heat?
Is this?
Nope.
Wait, are these the atoms?
If the air wasn't
Can you
there,
s-
yes,
can
that's the
you
one I
see
was
the
referring
cold?
to.
You can't see the heat. You can't see the cold. You believe they're there, though, don't you?
Look at this. Here's the photographed atoms.
Yep.
How about you guys openly believe in something that you can't see?
But we can see these atoms. Also, yeah,
my
I believe in
job
lots
is
of.
literally to design detectors that can see them.
It's fine. Hey,
To be clear, I
it's
believe in
cool.
lots of things that I can't see. None of them are contradictory, though.
It's fine. We agree that you believe in things you can't see. So
Mhm.
I'm
Wait,
glad you
Quantanaut,
conceded
your
that.
like keyboard typing is quite loud. Can you mute when
Sorry,
you're?
sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's his angry fingers being convinced of things that he don't believe in
I
or
know,
can't
I
see.
know. I tell him to stop all the time with his angry fingers.
My fingers are so angry.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad, guys. You know,
Buddy AG,
I'm glad you conceded that.
can I
I'm glad you conceded that.
Oh, it's not really a concession, it's just kind of my view. I believe in lots of things that you can't see. For example, I believe in like, I don't know, like grounding relations. I think there are some things that ground other things, but I can't see like a grounding relation. So I'm not sure why that would be a critique of my view, insofar as my view openly admits it. The reason why I don't believe in God isn't because I can't see him. That's because he's contradictory. There are contradictions.
You believe in electricity, don't you?
I believe in lots of things that I can't see. I just explained this to you.
So you believe in electricity, right?
You know, or like, for example, you know, you can't see your kids, but, you know, I'm sure you probably believe in them.
So you believe in electricity, right?
Yeah.
Can you prove it?
Yeah. Yeah. For example,
can't.
Easily.
Whoa.
Electricity's
What?
electricity's a theory.
What?
Electricity's a
What the
theory.
fuck are you talking about?
Look up the theory. Look up the proof of electricity and look up the theory of electricity. Any electrician will tell you, although you can plug your phone in and see it charging, you can't prove electricity. It's simply a theory.
And well, it's described as a physical phenomena. So when I look,
Oh, it's a physical
electricity
phenomenon.
is a set of physical phenomena.
There we go. And so God can't be?
The reason why I don't believe in God, well, yeah, God can't be a physical phenomena, correct?
Yes, he obviously.
You think God is physical? You think God is constrained by the laws of physics?
It's Jesus physical.
Please explain
Is
to me how
Jesus
God,
physical?
constrained by the laws of physics.
Jesus physical?
Whoa, calm down
Jesus?
there. Not
Jesus is
coherently.
physical?
Not coherently. Not if he was
Jesus-
God, he
Jesus was
wasn't.
physical?
Not if he was God.
Jesus was
Certainly not if he was God.
Jesus was physical?
Not if he's God, he isn't.
No, it's God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, is God 100%, or is Jesus 100% God?
It's God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Do you think that
It's
answers the
physical.
question?
It's physical. No.
Do you,
We're not.
yes.
I'm proving my
Do you
point.
think that that
You
answers the
agree that-
question?
you agree that
Is
Jesus was physical,
Jesus
right?
100% God?
Absolutely.
Yes. And is God immaterial?
He's a phenomenon.
Is
like
he
electricity.
material?
He yes.
Oh, okay. So Jesus is 100% God, and then Jesus is material?
Yes.
Okay, so Jesus is 100% God. God is immaterial. Therefore, Jesus would be immaterial, but then Jesus is material. So Jesus is both material and immaterial.
Okay, so we're talking about Jesus, or are we talking about God, the Son,
You
and
brought
the Holy
up
Spirit?
Jesus.
We're
I don't know
talking
why
about
you do
God, the Son,
that,
and the
because
Holy
now I
Spirit.
get like the free dunk, which is that the
I
hypostatic
don't
union is
understand why you
complete
don't understand that
gibberish.
there's a.
You're right. I
God,
don't
the Son,
understand
and the
that
Holy
Jesus is
Spirit.
100% immaterial and also 100%
God,
material.
the
It's quite confusing to
Son, and
me.
the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, it
So
seems like
therefore
three
he can be-
gods.
It's 3 in 1, baby.
It sounds like three. So
exactly-
okay, wait. Let's go ahead and count the gods. So we have Jesus, who has the divine essence. You know, we have the Father, who has the divine essence, and then we have the Holy Spirit, who has the divine essence. It's three things with the essence. And typically, when you're counting objects, you're counting how many objects instantiate the essence. So, for example, I have like one Lego dragon because it instantiates the Lego dragon essence. You know, if I had more than one Lego dragon that instantiated the Lego dragon essence, then that would be two of them.
So what you're saying is you don't understand. So therefore
It's
you're not as smart.
contradictory, is what I'm saying.
Therefore you're not as smart as you think you are.
No, it's contradictory is the thing
That
that I'm
means
saying.
that
Sounds like you're not tracking.
yeah, seems like you're not tracking.
Ooh, not tracking what? Gosh, surely not laughing like the Joker at a time like this.
It's okay. I can laugh any way I want to, anytime I want to.
Yeah, if you want to commit rhetorical suicide, maybe. Yeah, you just want to lock in the loss.
Hey, let me go ahead and tell you, if you don't believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you're the one committing suicide.
Oh, why? Why is that? Do you have what the fuck is going on in the background?
It sounds like a garage door.
Seems it's called work. It's called a job. I mean,
Are you on
cut some
TikTok
grass,
live at your
bro.
job?
Cut some grass, bro. Lord.
You're on TikTok live
I
at your
mean, we understand
workplace?
you build Legos. I mean,
Yeah.
you bring nothing to society, bro.
Oh.
It's
I think I
sad.
bring some things to society. You
Yeah,
know,
well,
for
you think
example,
all
I
you
wrangle
want.
up all the
We've
stupid
already-
fucks
we've
like
already
yourself and I
proven you're
wail
not as
on
smart as
them,
you think you
and then
are.
I clip it and post it for
We've
the
already proven
enjoyment
you're
of
not as
people for
smart as
long
you
to
think you
come.
are. That's what's so funny. You ain't as smart as you think you are.
What's one thing I'm wrong about?
You can think all you want that
Wait, can you
Jesus
name
don't
me a?
exist. That
Oh,
you don't believe in the Holy Spirit. That
yeah.
God
What's the
isn't
evidence
real.
that the Holy
Oh,
Spirit
there we
exists?
go. I mean,
Yeah.
you want me to go down the list?
Demonstrate any of those
You want me
things.
to go down the list?
Yeah. I want you to pick one of those things and then demonstrate it.
You can't change a flat tire.
Oh, I could change a flat tire. That's not too hard.
You know, you ain't
You
off
just
your
have
mama's
to, you just have
titty
to like
yet.
crank the fucking thing. Also, I'm living in my own apartment, buddy. AG, you sound
I'm
quite
sorry.
insecure about your status, which is
My
why you
own
needed to pivot away
apartment.
from
My
the
own
God
apartment.
debate. Yeah.
My own apartment. You're not
Didn't
a
you say that
homeowner?
I'm not off of my mother's teat? I literally
Huh?
pay for all of my own
Got my
bills.
own. I got my own apartment.
Yes,
You
correct.
mean you tell me you ain't got a house?
Yeah, I don't have a house. You know, not all of us live in the middle of fucking nowhere, Tennessee, like you do.
You mean to
You
tell
know,
me as
some of the houses and the
smart as you
places
are,
that some of
you
us
don't
live
understand the
would be quite
investments of
expensive.
buying
You
a
know,
house?
I, as a 25-year-old, can't afford a house in Maryland. You know, I'm sure you, as like a 37-year-old, where houses are $12,000, probably can.
Funny. I guess that's why I got half dozen of them.
Yeah, because they're $12,000. Yeah, that would explain that fact. Yeah.
Why, if you're so smart, why don't you come
That
down
would
here
be
and
like
buy your half dozen?
$100,000, like way less than
If you're so
$100,000
smart, why
even,
don't you
because
come
the
down here and
good-paying
make an
jobs, the
investment?
jobs that don't make me work on a Saturday, are the jobs that are in places like Maryland.
Oh, right. Because you work. You think that money knows what day of the week it is?
It's, I like working a 9 to 5.
Does money know what day of the week it is?
I don't think money knows anything.
Money don't know what day of the week it is, buddy.
Yep, I agree with that.
Well, then what's the difference in working on Saturday and working on Tuesday?
Well, because I get to
Money don't
relax
know
on
the
my
difference,
Saturdays.
Money don't know the difference. You're working on Saturday. Are you
Also,
not working right
also
now?
to be clear,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
I'm
not
also
working right
working.
now?
Yeah.
You're on TikTok
Yeah, I'm
live
doing my
working,
my
and
side
it's
hustle.
Saturday. You're
But in
working
terms
right
of like
now.
my main job, I only have to
Oh,
work Monday through
man.
Friday.
You need to go back to school and get some more education.
Yeah, I'm gonna take educational advice from you, Shirley.
Maybe you could take a class on common sense.
Yeah, maybe you could take a class on how to like pronounce words correctly.
Common sense?
Common sense.
Common sense? Huh?
My daddy told me. God,
Ah.
yeah, your daddy
But,
should
hey,
have taken out the belt more, frankly.
Let me go ahead and tell you what I know about you. You can't fix stupid, so it's all good.
Yeah. You got? Are you done? Have you given up debating, or?
I mean, obviously, you don't know how to make investments. You like renting an apartment, pissing your money away. You think that everything is
You know, you'd still have to
$12,000.
pay like a mortgage even if you buy a house, and then you'd have to pay like property taxes. Like I understand that there'd be like a financial benefit at the end of the tunnel, but you know.
Yeah, you just keep paying your landlord.
I
You
will.
keep making him rich.
I will.
Let's see if he works on Saturdays.
Yeah, probably not.
The
You
fact
know,
that you don't even
we gotta
understand
we
you're
gotta
working on
abolish
Saturday.
capitalism. I agree.
Why? So we can live in a socialist economy and everybody
Yes,
can,
then your landlord will have to work. In fact, there won't be a landlord.
we can all be equal. Is that what
There'll
you
be
think?
0 landlords.
You think? Okay, so we'll all be
Do you
equal.
think? Do you think that the landlord should exist? Like, what sort of contribution to society do you think a landlord makes?
He provides you with a place to live.
Does he? But if housing was socialized, then I would get this anyway.
You think a socialist
Why
place?
does he have any reason why is there any reason why he should own the land?
Why is there any reason I should own land?
Yeah, why should land be a type
so I
of
can
thing that a
provide-
person should
So
own?
I can provide people like you a place to live and
But
let
we would
you
all
pay
just get this anyway if it was socialized. You're a
You think
leech.
you can have-
Wait, are
so
you
you
a
think-
are you a
By what
landlord? Holy
standard?
shit, dude!
By what
I'm
standard?
speaking to a leech.
by what standard?
Damn.
By what
I didn't
standard?
realize that this dude was like.
By what standard?
I had no real. Didn't even
So,
realize.
so is your land? So since
Yeah,
we're
what
all
sort
in
of
a
value do you
socialist
provide
economy,
that
are we
wouldn't be
supposed to all
provided
live in a
if
tent?
housing was just socialized and provided by the government?
What would your house look like? Describe it.
You'd get like a sign like a house or like an apartment complex.
How big is this house?
I don't know. Do you want like floor plans?
No, yeah, I do. Since you're
No,
saying we all
yeah, I
should-
want floor plans. I don't know. It's 300 square feet.
So if you've got no kids, which you never get pussy, and I
Mm.
have 4 kids,
Yeah.
then how am I supposed to live in 300 square feet and you
Yeah,
ain't?
I understand that you might think that I
Why
get
would
no
I be
pussy the
able
way
to
that
get
I've been
up
blowing
here
out your pussy this
and
entire time.
why
You know,
would I be able to go
you'd
out
probably
here
think
and
that I
make the money
prefer
that
the
I make
pussy the way that I'm
and
like so
learn
deep
the
inside of
skills
yours.
that I have and the skills that I have to provide,
Mm.
but yet you want me to give you something because you have no skills. Yeah.
So the question was,
Sounds-
what value would
great.
what value do
Sounds
you
great.
provide that wouldn't be provided by the government if the government just distributed houses?
Where's the government get their money from? My taxes.
They print it.
My
Do you just want to
taxes.
go ahead and answer the question, or is it gonna another dodge?
Taxes. My taxes.
He's like short circuiting, dude. My taxes, my taxes, my taxes.
Yep.
Buddy
You ask what I
AG
provided.
offline.
You ask what I provided.
Yeah, what sort of
My
value do you
taxes.
provide that wouldn't be provided if the government just distributed houses?
paid
Like,
more in
what
taxes
what do
last year
you
than you made.
add as a landlord that
I
wouldn't
made
be
more in
provided by
taxes
like a
last-
government?
I made more money. I paid more money in taxes than you made last year. Bro.
How much did you pay in taxes?
I paid $72,000 last
That's
year. in
not
taxes.
true. I make more than that just in my main job.
Okay, so good for you. And
Oh
you shouldn't be
shit,
living
dude.
in an
Fucking
apartment.
shredded.
Then you shouldn't be living in an apartment.
Fucking shredded, dude. Maybe Maryland is just a bit more expensive than Bumblefuck, Indiana, or wherever the fuck you live.
Oh, I'm sure that there's areas of Maryland that are country that are
Sorry,
cheap.
but is there anything that's like
Okay,
by
so
where
you
the
can't
jobs
say
are,
Maryland.
or
So you can't
you know,
say
I don't really
Maryland.
want to
You
commute
can't
like
say
3
Maryland.
hours every day.
You can't say Maryland. You know,
Maryland?
Maryland's so great. Maryland's best.
Maryland's
Oh,
pretty
look
cool.
at
I like
me.
it,
Look
but
at
you
my
know, it's a
education.
job thing.
Look
Frankly,
at my education, and
I didn't
and
say that. You
I
sound a
got
bit
my little
insecure.
closet turned into a
This
studio.
guy sounds a bit insecure. I didn't
I
even bring
can't
up my
afford a car.
education.
I can't pay my property
Whoa,
taxes.
wait, I got a quick question for you, buddy AG.
Okay, so let me get this straight.
Whoa,
Since
sorry,
property
buddy
taxes
AG.
are
What's
so high,
which are
which are
13
created
times?
by the
Whoa,
government, but
whoa,
yet
just
you
calm
still want the
down.
government.
No need for you to get
So,
upset.
so your
Whoa,
property
there's really no
taxes are
reason for you
so
to be getting this
high,
upset. Take a deep
but
breath,
they're
buddy.
set by the
Calm
government.
down. Dial
Your
it down,
property
dipshit.
taxes are set by the government,
Take a deep breath,
but yet
mouth
you want
breather.
the
Calm
government
down.
to provide you
No
with
need
a
for you to be
house.
getting this
Make
upset.
that make sense,
Take a deep
bro.
breath. There's no need to
Make
crash
that make
out.
sense.
Sorry,
Your
just stop
property
crashing out. There's
taxes
really no
are
reason.
set
It's a
by
bit
the
embarrassing.
government.
You
Your
should calm
property
down. Take a
taxes
deep
are
breath.
set
Calm the
by
fuck
the
down. It's really gonna be
government.
okay.
Your
You should take a deep
property
breath.
taxes are set by the government,
Exhale.
but you want the government
Inhale.
to provide you with a
Exhale.
house. The same people that you're
Inhale.
complaining about why you can't afford a house
Exhale.
are the
It's gonna
same
be okay,
people
buddy.
you
Just
want
calm
to
down.
provide you with a house.
Calm down, mouth breather.
Man,
It's
be
gonna be
real,
okay.
dude.
It's
Be
gonna be
real,
okay.
bro.
No need to get
Be
upset.
real.
Suffering from like a lack
Be
of oxygen
real.
because he won't shut up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be real. Be real, bro.
He's short circuiting again.
I can't pay my property taxes, but I want the government to provide
I
me
can
with
pay
a
my
house.
well, yeah, because at the first
Golly.
before you own the house, you need to
Man.
put down like $300,000 or something. You know, and
I'm
that's
sorry,
that's like a cheap house too.
But you make all this money.
hmm But I don't make nearly enough to buy like a house in Maryland. Are you kidding?
In Maryland, what part of
Oh,
Maryland?
also, wait, to be clear, do you think you're
Huh?
getting into heaven? I thought it was easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it was for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven.
It ain't about being rich, it's about working.
That's the sound of him choking
It's
on my
about
rhetorical
it's
dick,
about
dude, after he
working,
got
bro.
called out on his
It ain't
hypocrisy.
about being
He probably
rich,
won't
it's
understand that
about
concept
working.
either. Wait, sorry, do you think
So
you're
I'm
getting into
supposed
the
to be
kingdom of
mad that
heaven?
God bless me?
Do you think
So
that
you're
getting into
think
the kingdom of
you're
heaven?
supposed to be mad at me? You're
Sorry,
mad
wait,
at me
do
for
you
being
think,
blessed?
whoa, do you
You're mad at
think
me for
that
being
you're getting
blessed?
into the kingdom of heaven?
You're mad at me for helping
Did
other
Jesus
people?
lie? It sounds like Jesus
You're mad
lied.
at me for giving
He's
10%
like
of my
projecting this shit
income.
onto
You're
me.
mad at me
Only
for making sure
10%?
people are taken care of. That's what God
yeah.
asked for.
What do you
Yeah,
donate
read your
to?
Bible. I thought you already read it.
What do
I
you
thought
donate
read
to?
it. I thought you read the church.
Oh,
Donate.
sure. That's
my
the
tithe,
donation that
bro.
you do.
That's just
Embarrassing.
my tithe.
Yeah.
That's just my tithe.
Okay.
Huh.
And you donate
I'm sure I donate
elsewhere
another 5 or 10%.
elsewhere too?
So, yeah, Yeah, for sure.
Where do you
I
like to
give money
donate?
away left and right, bro.
Like where?
You know why? Because I know it's coming back. Let me tell you what, when I give, I get it back 30, 60, and 100 fold. I thought you read the
yeah.
Bible.
I thought you read the Bible.
I
bro.
did, yeah.
Paying seed money to those evangelical churches that say that it'll. Oh, Andy's gone.
Oh, yeah, I ran the fuck away. Okay, I accept your surrender. Let's get the. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, how old are you?
30.
Yep. And what religion?
Catholic born. I don't think I subscribe to a religion right now, though.
Do you think that God exists?
Yes.
Okay, and by that you mean like a personal ultimate foundation?
No, I mean, I used to believe in the higher energy, but no, in this case, I do refer to like my God as Jesus Christ,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
aka the Holy Trinity.
Sure, yeah. So what makes you think God exists?
It's more so that like that we don't know anything. That's what makes me like kind of lean towards God existing.
How do you reason
Although
from us not knowing things to therefore God exists and that he's triune and that, you know, the son is Jesus and he was like born in like Bethlehem? Like, how do you reason from we don't know to that?
well, I reason because human knowledge is extremely limited.
That was the starting point again. Yeah. How do you get from there to Jesus?
Well, with that being said, I don't necessarily believe the Big Bang or anything like that.
Who
That
cares? How do you
nonsense.
get from we don't know to Jesus?
I just answered your question.
You said, well, I don't believe in the Big Bang or any of that nonsense. Why are the only two options the Big Bang or Jesus?
Well, if we would use our context clues, that would be deductive reasoning that we're
You think that's a
using
true
right there.
dichotomy?
Excuse
You
me?
think Big Bang or Jesus, that these are the only two logically possible options?
Yeah, I would say so.
So you don't think, for example, that like Vishnu could have spawned it in?
I don't know what that is, honestly.
Like a Hindu god?
No.
Okay. You said it was deductive reasoning. What's the inference rule?
The inference rule, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, typically deductive arguments have inference rules. They're like what structure it needs to follow in order to necessitate the conclusion. Otherwise, it's not deductive.
Then what would you call it?
I would call it a non sequitur.
A non sequitur? And what does that mean?
Yeah, it means that the conclusion doesn't follow from the premises.
The conclusion doesn't follow from the premises. And forgive me if I'm mistaken. Aren't you making the claim here though? So shouldn't you have to be like proving that God isn't real?
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Sure. So if God exists and he's the creator of time, then he would exist outside of time. If he exists outside of time, then that would make him unchanging, immutable. But, you know, if God's all knowing, then he needs to know what time it is. The time that it is changes. Therefore, God is mutable and immutable. So no such
Do
God
you
could
really think you
exist.
understand time?
Yes.
Oh my God, bro. All right.
Yes. Ask me one question. Ask me any question about time that you want.
No, I mean, be honest though. Like,
Yeah,
on
reading.
a quantum level, do you understand time?
I have a pretty good understanding of how time works on the quantum level.
Got it. Okay.
How do you think it works on the quantum level?
I the thing is, I just know we're too stupid as a race, as a
Oh.
human race, to understand these things.
Wait, what do you think quantum mechanics is?
Fucking the fucking secrets of the universe, dude.
Fucking magnets. How do they work?
Dude, magnets are incredible. I love magnets.
Yeah. But just because you don't understand what time is, why would that mean that
I
other
never said
people
that.
don't?
Why are you putting that in my mouth?
You
I
just
never
said that we as a species are too stupid to understand time.
I said as a human race, we don't understand time.
Yeah.
Correct? And
Yeah.
what did
So
you just say
presumably
I
that
said?
would include you? That we
What
as a
did-
species don't understand time?
Right, but you said what did you said I said?
Yeah.
You said what did I say?
I didn't ask what you said. I remember what you say.
What did I say?
You said we as a human species don't understand time.
Correct.
Yeah. So then it
And
would
you
follow from
claimed-
that you would not understand time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't understand
you,
time.
So you agree with me when I say that you don't understand time. I don't grant that I don't understand time. I think that I have like a half decent understanding of what it is.
Based off of whom?
Based off of a couple of things. First, like empirical sciences, like physics, for example, the conceptions of time and the facts about time that emerge from modern day, like relativity theory and things like quantum mechanics, the implications of that for time. There's like philosophy of time things, like whether or not time is like substantial versus relational, and whether or not there's like the block universe or just like a presentist, like coming into existence, going out of existence type beat.
Those are really like cool general ideas. Well, may I ask, are you educated? What did you study?
I studied math and computer science.
Ooh, so you are a little brainiac. That's good. Yeah, I just don't necessarily believe you. I don't think you understand. I don't think you've spoken with enough experts. As a matter of fact, it's actually
I'm a
quite
physicist.
literally the same thing as like people like reading the Bible and like following all that nonsense. Like it's just word of mouth at the end of the day, you know?
Do you think
Like
God
unless if you're
changes?
truly a quantum physicist and like you're able to put these things to like trial and error and
Hi, hello there. I'm a quantum physicist.
Hi.
I literally work on particle colliders.
Nice. What's up?
We understand how time works on the quantum level. That is not a mystery.
Do we though?
Yes.
And what's your proof of that? Because I don't think like
Like the
animals
past 100
understand
years
time.
of quantum mechanics experiments.
Got you. So the word of mouth from others.
Like the
No,
startling
I
success of like the empirics, like all the
And
experiments.
I've to be fair, I've done like a lot of these experiments myself. I'm an experimentalist.
Yeah. You claim that you like where can I find these studies, bro?
Well, one good example is the muon G-2 experiment, which I worked on, and that shows how time dilation works on a quantum level.
Gotcha.
It's a freely accessible experiment. Like you can look up the technical design report freely online.
Okay. I will do. I don't understand like what we're getting at though. Yes, there's people that study quantum, but I don't think that you understand.
Like
what
this
you're
is
studying.
not only like is it not a mystery, but this is like one of the most well understood theories of the natural world that humans have ever created.
Time?
Well, specifically quantum mechanics.
Oh.
Like we've really nailed that down in the past 100 years.
But that we've nailed it down in the past 100 years until it changes again, though. You know?
Well, that would not be quantum mechanics. That would be like quantum field theory, which is like the next layer.
But wasn't like who was it? Wasn't it Einstein that was like he didn't he fuck, I don't think it was Einstein, bro. But basically
Are you
like we've
talking
been
about like
wrong
the
in the-
spooky action at a distance? Because Einstein like was found quantum mechanics deeply unintuitive, but he also helped contribute to the development of quantum mechanics.
No, that I do understand, but like I don't want to bring it up because I don't know the specific right now, but like like Albert Einstein's, and I don't even know if it's him. There was a study, and it was basically like not disproven, but it was incomplete, and we had gone along with his theory for years until it was
We do know that there are aspects of physics that are not fully well understood. I mean, that's the reason why I am a physicist, right? Like, I wouldn't be studying this if we had it all figured out. But quantum mechanics is not one of those things.
Got it.
Wow,
good
I just heard why they called him the Whiff Wizard.
Why?
No, I mean, maybe I like misheard.
What'd you hear? I didn't hear it.
Did you just take like a fat milky bong rip, or
Fuck, dude. I was trying to be incognito here.
bro? It was
Yeah.
like the loudest thing I've ever heard.
Damn, I'm sorry. But I mean, to Mr. Quant, I don't even know what to call you, Quantum.
Quantum is fine.
Okay. So I do understand what you're saying, but like again, I don't think that we have that full grasp of understanding that you're claiming that we do have. And that is
what are you basing that claim off of?
the claim that human knowledge is extremely limited. Like we rely on AI in
Do
today's
you know
day.
what quantum mechanics even is?
No.
So
But
if you
what-
don't even
okay, we
know
can get
what
off
we do
of
know, how can you say what we don't?
Sorry?
If you don't even know what we do know, how can you make a claim of what we don't know? It sounds like you just don't know anything about physics.
Come on, I took physics. I made a catapult. I made a couple CO2 cars in my day.
Get this man at CERN. Get this man in a tenured position at CERN.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
don't
mean,
know,
like,
guys.
it's fine
I'm
to
really-
not like know what quantum mechanics is. That's
I-
totally understandable. But
I
you
think
shouldn't
we're
be
honing
making
in too
claims
much.
about what it can or can't explain if you don't even know what it is.
I think we're dwelling too much on this quantum mechanics, though, bro. Like, I think
You're the one who brought it up.
I brought it up in the sense that, like, we don't understand the universe. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
But we
So
do
therefore, the
understand
people
quantum
that-
mechanics.
People that
That's
claim
what
that
I
God
wanted to
isn't
be
real
clear.
are essentially claiming that they have the answer, and that is some BS. From a philosophical standpoint, you cannot argue it.
Well, of course you can. There's like lots of
No.
good philosophical arguments to establish the non-existence of God.
It's not to. It's not your. No. It's not that. It's the claim of the non-existence of God. You're claiming that you know like how the world began and everything, and I think that's BS. Like claiming the
don't
existence
claim
of God
we
isn't
know how we-
real. That's fine. But
We
in
don't
that
claim we
statement,
know how the universe began. In fact, there is perhaps reason to think that it didn't.
No, because by saying God isn't real, you're exactly admitting what you just said you're not.
So let me go ahead and throw up the syllogism. So I have these 4 premises. They're incompatible together. God is unchanging. God is all-knowing. If God is all-knowing, then he knows what time it is, but the time that it is changes. So, you know,
Got it.
God's knowledge changes, but God is unchanging.
Okay. What time? I'm confused.
Does God know what time it is?
Does God know what time it is? That's such a deep question, bro. Like, I don't know.
You would need to.
But how can I speak for like a higher being?
Is he all-knowing?
Just think of there's 2 possible answers to that question. Explore both of those cases.
Is God all-knowing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And is there like some fact about what time it is?
What was it? It was. Does God know what time it is? You said.
Yeah. Well, no. Is there a fact about what time it is?
Is there a fact about what time it is? I don't know how to like understand that.
Is okay. Sometimes it's a specific time. When it's like 4 o'clock, it's true that it's 4 o'clock. Right now, it's 8:10 p.m. EST. Is there some fact of the matter about what the time is?
Yes. Okay. I
Yeah.
understand.
So then God must know that fact if he's all-knowing. So God, right now, God knows that it's 8:10, but the time is constantly changing. So God's knowledge would have to change to update with the time.
But time is linear.
But so the problem is that as long as you're granting that it changes and that God knows what time it is, God's knowledge needs to change.
Fair, but I won't give you this one.
Okay.
I won't give you it.
Okay.
But fair, very, very fair. I am cornered and I have no rebuttal, but I don't like it.
Okay.
not.
That's
It's
that's refreshingly honest. I won't even lie to you.
okay. But no, same. Like, and that was a very valid. Like, you made it make sense, and like, yeah, yeah.
That's fair enough. Is there anything else?
No,
Hey,
no,
well, thanks
dude.
for coming up. Appreciate you. Huff to your heart's content, Whiff Wizard. Josiah Baker, thanks so much for the super chat. Did you not tell him they were the Lord's chips? What does that mean? Prometheus, thanks so much for the super chat. Young-hoon Kim from South Korea, who holds a verified IQ score of 276. Why does he believe in God? So his verification was done specifically under, like, so we had like a mentor, like a longtime mentor, and all of the organizations that certify his IQ were owned by his long-term mentor, and then he took control over all of those organizations. This is to say, with nothing but love in my heart, Prometheus, if you've looked into this deeply and you still believe that this guy holds that IQ, you're like probably pretty delusional. God Sinner, thanks so much for the super chat. When the is and the ought come out, I have trouble keeping up, but I do think I understand what Ian is saying and agree. Yeah, I'm trying to. I think one of the things that I'd like to do, if I streamed full time, one of the things that I would do is that I wish that I would spend. This is a skill I want to pick up from like Matt Dillahunty. I want to pick up the skill of like breaking down concepts such that the audience can understand them. He does this like extremely well. And when things get technical, I kind of just like jettison the audience. I say like, good luck. And then the conversation gets like super technical. And I think that's a bad habit. I wish I didn't do that. By the way, I had a great conversation with him just today about, I think he posted it on his Patreon. But we had a talk. I've convinced him about objective morality. Matt Dillahunty has been Geworth pilled. Dr. Blitz is next. Buddy Christ, thanks so much for the super chat. You'd think that these callers are dodging light itself with how fast they switch topics. True. Vintage Atheist, thanks so much for the super chat. Prove electricity, stick your fingers in a socket. True. Facts.
In Minecraft.
Uncle Rice, true, in Minecraft, not really, don't do that. I disavow anyone doing that. Yeehaw, thanks so much, Poopman Jones. Uncle Rice, thanks so much for the super chat. Dude believes in almighty celestial being, but not electricity. That's a good point. Alexander Foy, thanks so much for the super chat. I don't like to wage shame. People are worth more than they earn. But here's this guy's hourly rate for you, Ian. Thanks so much for the $15 super chat. Holy shit. Big W. Adam Carmona, thanks so much for the super chat. No one is converting to theism, but we're all Georgists now. Is that the one like economic? Is that like the anti-landlord economic stuff? People should own the wealth they produce. The economic rent derived from the land and natural resources belongs equally to everyone. Based in George pilled? Fuck yeah. I'll have to talk to Charsky about Georgism. I'm sure Charsky has lots of thoughts on it. Charsky is like a huge economics nerd. Spaghetti, thanks so much for the 5-month Cool Corey membership. He breathes through his mouth because of the smell. The Golden Legends, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you for making old streams free again. Did that happen?
I think it's more just that I sorry for the echo. I think it's more just that I forgot to be making them members only.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We can give it some time. We have the division between the old catalog and the new. Plus, there are like some personal reasons why it's that way anyway. So, Prometheus, thanks so much for the super chat. Explain black matter. You mean dark matter?
Dark. What?
He has a follow-up. Explain gravity.
Just like all of general relativity right now.
Yeah, just all of it.
All right, let me crack open the textbook and just start reading from the start.
Yeah. A Barnabas, thanks so much for Super Chat. Someone should suggest this guy read church history. If his critique as science changes, boy, he's in for a surprise. That's true. Eat some shorts, thanks so much for Super Chat. I'm confused. Is the most honest thing he said this entire time? That's true. That's fair. Okay. Fuck, I got a question. Damn it. I texted when we were talking to the Scientologist earlier, I have a friend, he's like a coworker, and he grew up in Scientology, and I texted him really quick. I said, I'm debating a Scientologist, but they might be trolling. What's an easy piece of trivia that every Scientologist would know, but no non-Scientologist would know? And then he missed it because he was at fucking Costco. God. It's not fair. Okay. Other than that, I'm leaving. I'm heading out. I'm sleepy. I'm eepy. I'm tired.
Thanks for having me up then.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for coming up. We're reading Rosalind Hursthouse's On Virtue Ethics in discord.gg/allegedly. Ian, the first reading group, the first book club for this new book is on the 6th. It's going to be a blast. It's at 8 p.m. EST. We'll see you there. It's going to be fun. And then we also have Thursday Feminist Book Club. I think Lizzie leads it. And we have Jackbox game nights on Wednesday nights. Also, I'm going to be on the line on this next upcoming, the 3rd. On the upcoming 3rd, I'll be on the line with Justin. Justin's taking over Dillahunty's spot for Wednesday for, I think, 2 weeks. And then he's taken Blitz and I. We're taking the spots. All right. See you all later.